The following podcast is for 18 and up audiences only. We got an upgrade for the budget. Yeah. So.
The Scots, huh?
Yeah, how about them Lakers?
Yeah.
Is that
Sports.
Seattle?
Let me get my notes.
Wait, are we talking about Seattle now?
No.
We're talking about the
it's always
Scottish
raining in
people
Seattle.
and their warlike tendencies.
I thought we were talking about sports.
Yeah, we all love sports.
You're like, how about them Scots? That's like a sports
We're
thing.
big jocks here.
Sports!
Yes,
Sports.
like Donatello.
Yeah.
So, okay. Last time we recorded this podcast, I think it was September 5th. So, a lot's happened since then.
Was that recently?
We've been very... Yeah, that recently.
Yeah, it feels longer, like, honestly.
Suffice to say, we all got really busy for a while.
We spent that entire time taking notes for this episode.
We were preparing for this episode.
We spent
especially.
every waking minute analyzing City of Stone Part 3.
I wish that was
We
true.
totally didn't just watch it this morning after a 3-month hiatus. Like, we were good.
So what's happened during these 3 months? Like, I want to cement our listeners, like, in a place and time for when they listen to this in the future.
Isn't that a bad
Like,
thing?
what? No.
Okay.
Not for a podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I know you ran your month-long event. That took a bunch of time.
Yeah, for November, I made up a list of prompts/challenges called Spanksgiving. And I wrote, like, a little short story every single day for the prompt. In fact, I wrote 2 short stories every single day because I did this prompt twice. But it was a lot of fun. A bunch of, like, other writers and artists joined in, including Hiran as well, who also filled in every single day. That was a lot of fun. If you want to check that out, just look in the Spanksgiving hashtag on Twitter, or look in my Twitter account, because I also made a Twitter moment for that.
Yes, you don't have to deal with the spam bots if you look at the
Yes.
moment.
It's all about capturing the moments,
Uh-huh.
you know? That's what social media is all about.
I mean, I still didn't even know a moment existed before this. But
Surprise.
It's not
I don't know if they
thing.
still will, because speaking of Twitter,
Oh, God.
Elon Musk recently bought that company,
Who cares?
and he's now lost a fuck ton of money, because everyone can see what an idiot he is. Which is not at all what would happen if David Xanatos bought Twitter, in which case everyone see how cool he is and will want to fuck him. Do we agree with this?
I feel like there would be some sort of.
He
like,
would not throw hissy fits on Twitter.
He would not throw hissy fits on
He
Twitter.
also
what?
wouldn't.
He would not be a
host-
reply guy.
He would not host polls about what do I do with this company.
This is
Like,
the
he
same
would
man.
do all the like the beta male cuck stuff that Elon is. He would run the company and be like, I'm too cool to answer to you, peons. Like, I feel like
No.
that's how he would act.
This is the same man who wrote the Pack TV show where all they do is fight evil ninjas and flex and look cool.
Did
so
he write that TV show?
Wasn't it revealed that he was the producer for it?
Yeah, but I don't know if he had anything to do with
Well,
the
what the
production.
hell? Who the hell else would it have been?
I don't know.
Fox, maybe?
Owen was in charge of the
Oh my
writing.
god. Yeah, okay, well, Owen would rely on whatever, like, statistically generated, like, charts tell him people are entertained
He
with.
definitely would do that.
Like,
yeah.
that's
He
how
would
he
just look
does
up
it.
whatever other shows were
He's like, yes,
successful
I
and just
see
do what
these
they did.
Ninja Turtles fight the evil ninjas. We'll make them the antagonist here. These guys are like the Ninja Turtles, but gayer.
He probably looked on a chart and was like, okay, like, dumb, beefy, older men are, like, really popular with the younger audiences. So we'll get one of them. We'll get a sexy mohawk guy. You know, we gotta have, like, the man service.
We have to
versions.
have the sex appeal for the charts. That the charts show those are really in right now. I don't know if I'm doing Owen or Hudson. It's like a mix of those two.
What if they, like, fuse, like a gem fusion
Ew.
in the Steven universe?
That'd be like,
No, thank you.
I don't,
Why are you both of you just like, no?
because they don't match. Like, they don't have any chemistry whatsoever.
That's not true.
Owen pointed a gun at him like one time, but that was
Okay.
it.
In the upcoming episode, The
there
Price,
is the
they have
pri-
this great conversation together.
Okay, well,
I literally was about to quote the price.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
But it's like
Yeah.
the only time those two characters interact. So it had to be that episode you were about to say.
I really like it, though.
It is a good episode.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the
We're here to talk about a different episode than Singing Stone Part 3. No, okay.
After all this time.
I should also mention, blah.
I agree.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So okay, in actual, like, real Gargoyles news, the first issue of the new comic has come out. By now the second issue might have also come out. I don't know, it hasn't been delivered to us yet. But...
Did you pre-order the first issue?
Yes.
Do we have it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, you should read the other comics before
Oh my gosh, is that why you
like
gave me those?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're upstairs in the library if you want to go back and just grab them sometime.
I have literature I have to read.
But anyway, so I think I'm the only one who's read this issue so far. But,
yeah, I've been looking for a copy.
You, listener, if you want new Gargoyle stories, you should also be getting this comic because this is what we have, you know, and it's a continuation, and that alone is very exciting, even if, spoiler, nothing much happens in the first issue. But that's okay. We don't mind. There's pretty pictures.
Did they at least reestablish who all the characters were?
That's
for the new
what they did the entire issue, of just like, this is this character, he's kind of wacky. Then there's this guy, he's like here's his relationship to everyone else. Like, that's like all the issue is. But it's fine.
Cool. I'll get to that once I get through the prequel books.
Yes. Speaking of comics, though, listeners, we have a Patreon, and on it, we are currently live reading and reviewing every issue of not the new comics, but the first line of comics put out by Marvel in the 90s.
Our second video... Sorry, I just had some stuff in my throat. Yeah, it's very attractive. Anyways,
Sid has a cold, by the way, so forgive him.
I have the sniffles.
He has the sniffles.
I'm at the tail end of it. I'm fine. Anyways, yes, we put together recently the second live table reading we did of Marvel's Gargoyles, the original run. What year was it again? It was
I want to say 95.
95. I'm probably wrong, but that is what we did a reading on recently. We all played certain characters, and we hadn't read the comic before, so we were like live reading it while also trying to like voice for these characters that we're familiar with. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting and kind of chaotic experience. If you want to see the full 40-minute video of us desperately trying to voice these characters, I added in a lot of editing and animation to try and keep the flow going. So yeah, if you want to see this, I would recommend going to our Patreon and
subscribe.
Not to mention desperately trying to figure out what the pictures we're looking at actually are.
The art's a little special. But
yeah.
Okay, what really makes this video special though, like the editing that Sid put in, like Sid put like weeks of effort into this freaking video, and like it shows. Like there's so many visual gags and jokes that like are not in our original recording that he just added in like later on, but they make the video so fucking funny. Like I've watched it multiple times. It's so good. Like the first time I watched it, I was wheezing. I was like out of breath.
Yeah, I was there. Like I wasn't sure if I do either of us know CPR? Like
I do.
I probably should.
No, we've got Hiram. We're good.
Okay, but what if he is the one who needs CPR? At least two.
I can adapt.
What? That's not... Okay.
Like you might not.
To be fair, my CPR training is expired because I'm pretty sure they've changed how CPR works completely from like 12 years ago. When
I had the whole demonstration done for me when I was in the second grade. I like molested like the training dummy. Everyone had to do it. Everyone had to do. Well,
did everyone like giggle every single time?
Yes, like because they had to like kiss him. And it was weird,
it's
but
the kiss of
that's
life.
Yes, but they still did it. Anyways, I think I'm like a little trained because of that experience.
Well, that's great. I'm glad.
Okay, so
did you finish your intro, by the way?
I don't know. I'm sort of all over.
We kind of were talking about like events that had happened since we last recorded, and then we trailed off.
Okay, the last thing I want to mention is for December, I wrote a very horny Christmas gargoyle story where the trio like runs into Krampus, in the past, and like he spanks all of them.
Ooh.
So if that also piques your interest, it's on my fur affinity.
Should make a
accounts.
sequel where Krampus spanks them in the future.
Okay, that will be for next year. Yeah, okay.
It's already set. The ground is already laid for it.
That's great.
Like, yeah, just like the most of the story is like in the past, but then like the last like bit of the story is like Lexington wakes up in the present, is like, oh, that was a weird dream I had. Did that really happen? And we hear like the sound of like sinister jingle bells on the wind. He's like, oh no, it's Christmas Eve, and Krampus is coming to spank all of us again.
Yeah.
That's like how it ends.
Yeah. That's what Krampus does, you know?
Yeah, he's a serial spanker, which is hot.
Yeah. So
By the way, welcome to the
Yeah.
Loincloth Hour.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that yet.
A
Welcome.
podcast where we talk about the hot fan fictions we write of cartoons.
this is I tried to like do an updated explanation as to what our show is, and the best I could summarize it is it's three gay furries trying to like host a talk show, and
Yes.
that's what it
A
is.
talk show with only us on it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's our show, so we can do whatever.
I agree with you. I fully agree.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my intro done, I think.
Do you want to go next?
Well, I have a question for you about the actual show. If we're ready to start that.
Of course.
All right. So I was watching the previously on, and I have to ask: do you prefer the kind of previously on that this episode had, or the kind in X-Men where they just show action scenes for 15 seconds straight?
Sid and I have been watching the first season of X-Men, TAS, the original show, and like their previously on sections are insane because like it feels like they recap the entire show up until that point, and I'm like, we don't need to know any of this for the episode we're about to watch.
Yeah, I have.
And plus, they recap just like just any action scene, which I'm just like, that doesn't contribute to the plot. Like, do we need to know that Rogue like punched a robot? Like, that's not important.
Okay, but what is the plot of the first season though? Like what is it?
This isn't an X-Men podcast.
No,
but
but like
you almost got me to recap the entire first season of X-Men live on our podcast. You almost got me.
Man, I left the bait there.
Okay, someday we
I
will
set you
do an
up.
episode on X-Men. It's going to happen. It comes up enough anyway. even
Yeah,
if-
yeah, like you talk. It's too much a part of your life for you to not want to talk about X-Men at some point.
It's very important to me.
It's very
we saw
important
the
to you.
episode in Alaska where Sabretooth had like his whole ass out for like.
He
a good
has his
5
ass out in
minutes.
every episode.
Okay,
It
but, like,
doesn't
the
make a
camera
difference.
Lingered on his ass.
Yeah,
in this
I know
episode.
it does because he's like fucking Kim Kardashian. He can't stop himself from flashing it everywhere he goes.
Sabretooth would break the internet. I do
Sabretooth.
believe that.
What about the like that Cholo Broly meme where he's like
Yes.
twerking? That's
Sabretooth
that's
could
what
do
I
that,
picture
too.
with Sabretooth. I'm surprised
Uh-huh.
no one's like made that like drawing comparison yet. But yeah, that's he's a thick boy. Anyways, so
Okay, previously.
no, we
on
didn't even do our
Gargoyles.
other intros yet.
What other intro?
He had to introduce himself. I had to.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
Just
what
say your
I
names.
went to
Say
you
your
and I'm
names.
like, do you want to introduce yourself? And you're like, I have a question for you. And then everything went to hell.
Okay, just say who you are.
I'm Huron.
I'm Sid.
And I'm Manicorn, or Croup. Whatever name you want to call me.
Or like 15 other names.
Okay, that's who we are. We're ready now.
Now, previously on Gargoyles, what we...
Gruach sang a song on the battlements with a rose about how much he wanted to fuck Macbeth. And then Gilcom Jane came out and also sang a song about how much he wanted to fuck Macbeth. And then Demona came and killed Gilcom Jane. I almost said both of them. But I remember that Gruach was still alive.
Yes, Gordon
Yeah.
Stone.
What else happened?
I mean, I feel like you sometimes... also, the entire city's population has been turned to stone in the present.
In the present, not
Oh,
in medieval Scotland.
So that's why it's called City of Stone.
Yes.
Yeah. I get it. Sneaky.
And I think we had a cliffhanger that,
It wasn't even a
much
cliffhanger.
like
Like,
Demona and Hunter are fighting. Okay, Macbeth and Rourke got married. That happened at like the very end.
That was the flashback.
This was like 4 months ago for us, so like I barely remembered. I had to actually go back to our
The
previous
episode ended
and
with Goliath and Xanatos touching dicks,
Yes.
and then it said to be continued, and then we faded to black.
They start their sexual relationship with each other, and they
like
both think they're
Xanatos
the top,
does
is what I wrote.
the ritual. He's like, well, we have made a pact, Goliath. Your penis must now interlock with my own, just to make it official. And then, like, the whole...
They have to dock with each other.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I know you've been used by men in the past.
Oh, God. Anyways, so the only thing I put for, I never cover the recap in my notes. Like, I get it. I know what happened. I don't need the show to tell me.
Well, I'll just say, in the present day, we also see that Demona is fighting a hunter, but it's a different hunter than the past.
Who is he?
He like reacts in pain whenever she gets hurt, and she recognizes who it is, but we don't know who it is yet.
But this is in the present time.
In the present, yes.
Not the past.
Not the past.
In the past.
In the past, it's also been like 3 different people.
In this episode. No. In the past, it's only been one person, but as of this episode, it's now 3 people.
Yeah, because we saw at the end, Duncan took out the hunter mask, and it looked like he was going to put it on the baby, but he put it on himself instead. I remember that part.
This is the ugliest fucking baby I've ever seen in my life, and it grew up in the Lord Farquaad.
So now that our listeners are completely caught up and not confused in any way.
Okay. I have my notes ready. Okay, so we start the episode after the recap, which I already know what it is. Sun rises, and Elisa reverts from stone. She starts freaking out, thinking she's still speaking with the gargoyles, resuming her last conversation before turning to stone. To her, it was as if no time had passed. And after this scene, we fade back to Peck's studios. The gargoyles turn to stone. Owen and Xanatos revert back. Owen is also in mid-sentence. And then, while he's in mid-sentence, he looks at the snapped phone cord in his hand, and then he quickly assesses the situation visually, fixes his bow tie, and then just gives a pleasant-sounding good morning to Xanatos.
Doesn't he also hang up the phone?
Okay, yes, okay.
Oh, does he?
Like he's talking into the phone, like warning Xanatos. Then he sees that Xanatos is there, and then he puts the phone, he looks at the phone, sees it's cut, and then puts it back on the receiver, even though he sees the cord is cut on the phone. But his butler instincts,
where else would it go?
Exactly. You get litter.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I do think it's interesting that both Elisa and Owen, they don't realize any time, no time has passed for them. Whereas I feel like when the gargoyles turn to stone, it's like when a person goes to sleep. I've always felt like you're aware that the day has gone by.
Yeah,
but I guess because it's magical, Elisa and Owen, it's no time has passed at all. It feels like.
Well, it's magical for the gargoyles too, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Isn't it? It's a curse.
No, no. The stone sleep isn't a curse. Them keeping their clothes on is a curse.
Yeah.
Canonically.
That's stupid. Anyways.
Yes, the stone sleep is biological, and it's not actually stone.
Because they're perfectly normal life forms on this planet.
I don't buy it. Xanatos asks if he is aware of what's happened. Owen responds with, "It's fairly easy to deduce. You stopped the broadcast, I presume?" And then Xanatos smugly responds with a little help from my friends, pointing over at stoned Goliath in Brooklyn. And when I say stoned, I mean they're actual stoned. They're not I mean, they could be. I don't know what gargoyle sleep is like.
The entire studio is all smashed up around them, also, by the way. So that's how Owen's just yeah, I can sort of see what happened.
Yeah. He's a pretty, he gets the situation. He gets it.
He's astute.
Yeah. So, Owen suggests finding a counterspell in the Granorum Arcanorum. And Xanatos is like, would that even work, though? We don't know how to do this shit. I summarized it. This is my own words, but that's pretty much what he said.
Yeah.
So yes. So they contemplate searching for a scientific cure. And then Owen is able to translate what Demona's initial spell was, what she was saying on the broadcast from Latin. I don't know how authentic the translation is. Probably authentic. I don't know. I didn't do the research.
I don't know.
Anyways, it translates to, all who see this, all who hear this, turn to stone throughout the night until the skies burn.
There's always a gotcha like that in these spells.
Like, what if she just did the spell and left that last line out? Like, why did that have to be there?
Well, I feel like for magic to work in this universe, like, they have to include, like, a way to undo the spell, like, within the spell. I sort of feel like that's how most spells that we've heard, like, have worked for some reason.
So, Xanatos is like, then we'll just have to set the sky ablaze, and he's got, like, a big old smile on his face when he says it. And then Owen is just, like, in a really long way, okay.
Like, he doesn't even bat an eye. He's like, my boss is up to hijinks again.
He's ride or die. And then from there on out, we cut to the city streets, who are in commotion with confusion and panic. Either that or they're just rounding in front of a television window store listening to an anchorman talk about the strange broadcast, which was relayed across the city last night.
Okay, it's not just any anchorman, though. Do you know who this man is?
Oh my god, no, I don't know
This is Travis Marshall.
Yeah.
Previously seen sucking Matt Bluestone off in a helicopter, if you remember that. No. Well, it happened.
Okay.
It was real.
I accept it. I don't care. Yeah. NYC is confused and crowded, so nothing much has changed from normal NYC, particularly. I assume so.
No, it's pretty much always like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so he's doing this report talking about how no one remembers quite how time had passed from night to day. Mm-hmm. And then a woman in red rushes from the nearby crowd, approaching the reporter. She truthfully exclaims that everyone last night was turned to stone. But the reporter chuckles and was like, wait, how come you didn't turn to stone? Mm-hmm. And then the woman responds with, because I never watch television. And honestly, that's based.
But she says it in, like, the snootiest way possible, I feel like. She was like, because I'm better than you ingrates who watch TV and rock your brains.
I can see this woman. She's got her cats. She's got her books. She's just living her best life in her one-bedroom apartment. Like, she's just trying to survive. She works. She's underpaid and overworked. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the reporter just dismisses this as crazy and theorizes that this could be mass hypnosis. Meanwhile, the masked hunter watches this broadcast ordeal from his Pornhub webcam monitoring studio. Clearly, Macbeth slams his fists on the table in sexual frustration over Demona.
Yeah.
We fade away to the past. More flashbacks to the past. Was there anything else you guys wanted to add?
Travis had a really funny line after the lady told him about the television thing. Because he just says, obviously these events have taken the heaviest toll on the most fragile among us.
Yes.
Which is like such a backhanded, like, this bitch is crazy and we should ignore her.
I mean, that's pretty much what I said in my notes, the latter, but the way he says it is very passive-aggressively that, yes.
I would like to point out that this mystery man, who we still don't know who he is, we've now flashback from his perspective to Macbeth's perspective.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
But it's clearly, the voice is clearly Macbeth's when he's
in
like
case there's any doubt left.
There's no doubt. If you get to City of Stone Part 3 and you still don't know who the Masked Hunter is...
Who is he?
Like, it's
is it Gilcum Dane?
It's ridiculous. I mean, we cut to Scotland 1040 AD. We see child LARPers galloping through the mountains. There is a radiance of fog and daylight overlapping the scene. These are the sons of King Duncan and Macbeth. Their fathers follow closely behind, watching over them. Macbeth is still the hot one. Duncan became edgier and grew a beard. Okay. Spent a few years at the gym, probably for cope, having his sugar daddy killed a few years back. What were you gonna say?
No, okay, Macbeth is still hot, but I feel like King Duncan is also very hot now.
But Macbeth's still the hot one.
He, like, graduated from like, annoying, like, vengeful twunk, bratty twunk, to, like, now I feel like he's, like, full daddy.
He's like,
he has a full beard.
He's like a masculine power bottom.
He has a single gray streak in his hair, kind of like Tony Drayton, who I feel like we also compared those two characters together previously. I
don't
think.
know. There was a lot of talk about Duncan in the last episode.
I feel like when we were talking about King Duncan's like foot fetish last episode, we said that
he liked having his feet rubbed by Gilcomgain. Like, you know, that's just he knows what he likes.
But he now hasn't had a good foot rub in like 8 years.
Well, I don't know about that, because Macbeth is weirdly handsy during this whole like scene. Like, he's trying to like seduce the king to be in his favor, even though the king is his cousin. So I mean, it's just like how they did it in Scotland back then, is what I assume.
I love that edit that you posted to the Loincloth Hour Twitter account where Macbeth is just like boom, like his hand on Duncan's shoulder.
Yeah.
And
mind you don't fall, Canmore. Have no fear, King Duncan. The prince will be safe.
just like slaps his ass really hard.
And then Duncan is just looking like, did this man just like steal my virtues? It's insanity. But yeah, no, that's the whole vibe I get from this whole sequence here. Okay, so Macbeth pats Duncan on the shoulder and pats him on the ass before telling him that to have no fear, because they're royalty and their kids know the area, because Duncan is like calling after his son, like, don't fall off a thing. Like, that's totally not gonna happen in the future.
Well, it'll happen to him.
Yeah.
In like 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, you know. So Macbeth kind of flaunts his tits at the camera while he's talking about this. Like, he's like just a big, like, boastful man right now. And that makes this infer to me that this is a date. And Duncan's like, yes, our boys seem to get along. And Macbeth is like, well, yeah, they're cousins, bro. They should be friends, bro. And I'm like, bro, wait, does that mean you're on a date with your cousin right now? I guess they did it a little differently back then. This is when I realized, as I was writing my notes, that this is wrong.
Okay, are Macbeth and Duncan cousins?
If they're,
remember.
I mean, like, they're saying their kids are cousins, so I assume that means, like, I don't know. Like,
okay.
It was probably during the boring dad conversation.
No, they are in fact cousins. Yes.
Okay.
I'm still going to ship them because I think they're like sucking each other off on this.
Listen, I guess look,
I'm sorry.
Macbeth is the last person to, like, he's probably got a plethora of mommy issues.
Just to throw a little bit of context here, the fact that they're cousins is why he was a threat to the throne.
Right, because he's like next in line or next-ish in line.
Not now that his son is born, but before that he was.
So, Duncan responds to this retort like, yes, well, some cousins are not that close.
He said it like this really evil way.
And then he,
for
like,
some
just
reason.
proceeds ahead, like, on the edge of this cliff. Like, he's just like, yeah, I shut that man down.
So, am I the only one who thought of Sailor Moon when he said that?
Oh, okay. I didn't then, but now I will.
Okay.
Cousins. Is it Saturn and Uranus? I don't even know which stouts.
It's Uranus and Neptune,
they
isn't
are.
it?
2 lesbian sailor scouts are cousins in one of the English dubs, and so that's why cousin means gay now. So when Duncan's like, yes, well, some cousins are not that close, he means that I'm not gay with you, although like I sort of am.
It's like he's like a tsundere.
Yes.
So the gods were not pleased by this shutdown, however, as they decide to cause the ground to break away beneath him. And then suddenly Duncan is about to die. Macbeth, however, dives him to the rescue and saves him. He catches him in time and pulls him up. And then Duncan is kind of like, oh damn, okay, you are kind of cute though, I guess. If you legit, then you legit.
He's like into it. He's cradled in Macbeth's like strong, manly arms.
Yeah,
He's like,
Macbeth
"Oh,
is like, don't
you
worry, I
saved
will
me."
diaper your bottom for you, sir.
And he's like, you know, ever since my daddy top Gilcomgain passed away, I've been looking for someone to sort of fill that void. You know, fill various voids, I guess you could say.
Listen,
in me.
King Duncan, doesn't he get like an army of men, like, at some point? Like,
Yeah, but like they're all subservient to him. He needs someone who's gonna like.
That's
boss him
true.
around
He can never.
and, like, put him over there.
He can never get that
give him a
satisfaction.
spanking,
Okay.
like all that stuff.
So they turn right around the corner after this ordeal, and suddenly stone gargoyles. Oh snap! They found Demona's pack. And as they do this, Macbeth immediately recognizes Demona as a statue. But, Duncan, probably because, he's heard some things about Scotland and gargoyles, he gets the right idea. Well, not the right idea, I shouldn't say. But he gets, this idea in his head.
What happens at the end of this episode, it might have been the right idea for him to kill them.
Well,
right.
Anyways, so Duncan just decides to pick up a rock and tries to fucking smash it over Demona. Macbeth jumps in the way and stops him, trying to appeal to Duncan so that he may spare them, informing him that he has familiar history with the one that he's currently trying to smash. And Duncan's, shocked at first, but then he's like, okay, I guess if that's your fetish then. And then he drops the rock, agreeing to spare them because he saved him earlier. Mm-hmm. Or the way he puts it is, we owe it to you. He speaks to him about himself as if he's multiple people.
Yeah, it's the royal we.
Yeah, the royal we, the Wii U.
The Wii U. I feel like at this point also Duncan was like, I don't want to fuck you anymore. If you wanted to save a gargoyle, I don't want to sleep with you. You're gross now.
So Duncan, after this whole ordeal... Oh, wait, no. Do we want to talk about the part where he says come, or do we want to skip that?
You can talk about it if you want.
So there's this one part where Duncan says come, and it's funny. And that's a...
But for further context, follow our Twitter account where we posted the clip.
So anyways, Duncan's like, okay, I'm tired. Daddy needs his nap. He calls his kid over, who I actually forgot was still here in this scene. And the four of them, Macbeth, Macbeth's kid, Duncan, Duncan's kid, all four make their way back to the kingdom. As they're en route through the foggy woods, Duncan starts to bitch about the weather. Dungeon synths begin to drone. Wolves howl. They picked the worst possible day to go spelunking or exploring or whatever the fuck they were doing out there. It was like a date or whatever.
Daddy camping.
Why were they even on the side of this fucking mountain? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is just Scotland things. It's different there.
Yeah, it's different there.
So, as they're walking through the dark, scary woods, Duncan gasps as he sees a visage in the fog. 3 witches stirring a cauldron, one of which is voiced by Katsusi, who played Lil in Rugrats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I immediately recognized her voice.
Didn't she play both Lil and Phil?
I only saw her credited as Lil.
Okay.
But it could be, I don't know.
Did anyone really voice Phil?
Is Phil even real? Maybe he's just a figment of the Rugrats' imagination. So anyways, the witches, as they're stirring this cauldron, they recite a little limerick, or what's the right word for it?
A rhyming scheme.
Yeah. So they say, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burning cauldron bubble, all hail Duncan, King of Scotland, father of the king hereafter. For some reason, Duncan is just looking all proud at seeing this, and he's like, damn.
Oh, they know me.
He's like, damn, yeah, I am hot shit, ain't I? And then Macbeth approaches the scene. One which is like, all hail Macbeth, King of Scotland, father of the king hereafter.
Uh-oh.
They're being so catty right now, these witches. When I first heard this, I'm like, oh, so they're both gonna be king. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And then I put in my notes, I don't ship them together because they're cousins and all, but I guess the witches are into that shit.
Okay, I don't think that's what the witches meant.
I know it's not, but I'm playing with theories here.
Okay, imagine if that was the undercurrent to the scene, and they're both looking at oh my god, we are going to get married someday. This tension I've been feeling this trip, it's real. It's going to turn into something.
Who would have thought that Macbeth had a happy ending? So Duncan decides to have a diva moment over this, though, because of his inferiority complex, shouting, "You speak treason, old crone." And Macbeth is all, nah, I mean, he walks in, he's like, okay, listen, witches, you got the first part right, but the second part, not so much. One witch is like, yeah, for now, but both of y'all are gonna be king at some point. And Macbeth's all like, okay, can y'all shut up? I don't want to piss my cousin off, because we're pretty close to canoodling a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and you're ruining it.
And meanwhile, in the background, Ken was just shooting Luak this very dirty look.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
I
had to point that out.
Yeah, I don't. Children aren't real.
Canmore looks like
Lord Farquaad.
Yes, he looks like Lord Farquaad.
He does. You know who voices him?
Lord Farquaad?
No.
Who?
Tom.
Who's
Tom.
Tom who? Wait,
They
Tom?
only have.
Sweet Tom.
They only have.
Tom is also voices
They have
Canmore.
one
Oh my
child
God.
voice actor.
Well, that's not Luwak's voice
Yes,
actor.
okay, I think they did only have one child voice actor, because if you didn't notice, Luwak gets no lines at all in this episode. They only voice one child at a time.
I didn't even know he had a name.
His name is Luwak.
I mean,
Well,
I know his
name in reality is Lulak with another L, but they typoed it while they were writing the script.
That's so funny.
And then they're like, "Oh, it's probably one of those cases where it could be different things." But no, it turned out they were just wrong.
Luwak, I do want to say also, historically, Macbeth isn't his father. Gil Cumgane is his father, and I think that's true here too. Because if you look at him, he looks like Gil Cumgane.
Yeah.
So like,
I think it's just the curly hair, but yeah, I guess I do kind of
I
see
think
it.
he's from Gruach's first marriage with him, which I think where.
So, anyways, during this whole scene, Duncan's now got his arms crossed, like he can't even handle this shit that these witches are spilling right now. One witch glares at him. Macbeth, that is, for trying to correct the witch's like prophecy, and she's all, "You would lecture us on fate?" Like that it was actually kind of scary the way she said it. Like, and then they disappeared to the fog, and I'm just like, bruh, way to stir the pot. Am I right?
Yep.
Because they are stirring like a cauldron, and they're like causing drama, so they're stirring the pot. Yeah, you get it?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it took me like a few minutes to think of that one. It paid off. So Macbeth turns to Duncan, and he's like, "Oh, come on, those ladies were just a bunch of bedlams. Forget about it." And Duncan's like, "Yeah, damn right it is." And then he gives this like sly smirk, like, "You're mine now, bitch."
But he gives a smirk like directly to like us, the audience.
And then it's followed by a scowl immediately afterwards, like so bipolar. And that's when we cut to commercial, and my notes end off there.
Yep, so I'll be taking it from here. I do think this... So I know in, like, the Shakespeare play Macbeth, which obviously we just saw, like, the gargoyle version of the opening scene from Shakespeare's Macbeth. I think it's interesting in this that, like, I feel like in the Shakespeare version, like, we're meant to believe that, like, Duncan's basically a good king.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Whereas in this version, like, we know that he's not, because he's, like, orchestrated multiple assassinations by now.
Yeah.
So I think that scene sort of, like, turns it on its head.
Well, I mean,
that way.
It's more historically accurate, isn't it?
I don't know.
So the whole
think I know real
so the whole
1040 AD history?
The whole reason that Shakespeare revised it so Duncan was a good king was because the current king of England claimed to be a descendant of King Duncan. So in order to avoid pissing off the king, he changed the plot to make Duncan a good guy.
That's neat.
I think we have this discussion before.
I think we did it last episode, but I'm consistent.
Like, I just got the
things.
biggest like vibe of deja vu. It overcame me.
It's okay.
It was scary.
Yeah, no, we have discussed it before, but I'm sure most of our viewers wouldn't have realized that if we hadn't said it. So.
Yeah, because they need us to explain the smart stuff to them. These people. I'm just kidding. You're all very smart listeners. We love you all. You're much smarter than we are, in fact. So, okay. After the break, we come back to Duncan. He's now leading some burly men back to the Gargoyle Cave. It's sunset. It turns out he's definitely planning to murder Macbeth. Not like power bottom him to submission like we thought he was going to. So in order to do that, he's going to kill all the gargoyles first, just in case they're like part of Macbeth's defenses. And he puts on a hunter mask while he's at it because he's the hunter. Yeah.
Why did he wait till sunset to kill the gargoyles?
Okay.
So,
because he's stupid.
I mean, he did give... The reason he gave was very simply that he had to go back and pretend everything was fine, and as soon as he could get away, he went away, grabbed some men, and rushed back to try and kill them before this...
Why didn't they wait until morning?
Now,
one of the men fucking asks that. He's like, why are we doing this now? Do you know what Duncan says to that?
Duncan's response is, well, what if they move to a different cave by the morning?
Yeah.
There's no sign in the cave that it's a permanent residence, not just a place they were staying the night.
as usual, Demona's plan in her caves, it looks like a piece of shit in there. So
no, Demona's just kind of like a drifter scraggler with her posse of like boy toys.
Yeah.
So Duncan puts his mask on, which in this case it diminishes his hotness because it covers up his beard, which I think his beard is great.
I'm not attracted to Duncan.
I am. I'll continue to be until his horrible death, which we'll cover later.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
But so they get in there, they start smashing. They smash at least like one or two gargoyles, but just as they're about to smash Demona, the sun like finishes going down, and she wakes up just in time to catch the mace like a badass. She's super old looking now. She has like white hair. These 8 years have taken a toll on her, it seems. We also see Brooklyn's older brother waking up, and that one beefy, like the ram horned gargoyle. It's important to me they're still alive. I'm shipping them together now. I think they're a couple.
Well, obviously,
I've decided this.
I feel
I'm
like
pretty sure I referred to him as the hot one in one of my later notes.
Yeah, like he is the hot one.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's brother is like fucking terrifying, by the way. As he like takes out one of the humans, like his eyes are white, and he has like the most demonic, like triangular looking grin I've ever seen. He's wearing like a caveman, like one strapped singlet. Sort of like Wilma Flintstone, I guess.
He kind of has like a beak when he like emerges and breaks out of the stone. Like he's got like this really large like stretch to like his jaw, and you can see like just how much he can deep throat.
Yes, you can. And he has like a little beardy thing now too.
He has like a little like soul patch. I don't know if he did either.
He looks great.
No, yeah, I wish we knew more about him other than the fact that that just happens to be Brooklyn's brother that he never knew.
I wish he had like a single line in any episode he's in.
I wish granted none of them really.
I wish Brooklyn had no lines and that his brother had lines.
Yeah.
Is that what you were about to say?
Something along those lines.
So anyway, Demona's about to like kill the king, but then some human gets in her way, and she needs to be rescued instead. So after that, she's like, okay, we just need to go. So they all fly out of the cave, and then like while they're in the air, she's talking to the beefy gargoyle, and she's like, God damn it, like I'm getting tired of running all the time. If only I was young and hot again, I could kill like every human in the world. And then she's like, wait a minute. Can I be young and hot again? Can those weird sisters make me young and hot? And the beefcake gargoyle is just like, I don't know. And she's like, well, we're gonna find those sisters and we're gonna make this, like, that's her plan now. It's like the most ADHD conversation I've like ever seen come out of her. She's just like, she's like wild. In mid-thought process, she's like, oh wait, we're gonna do this now. Like, is this how she leads? I think it probably
Why do you think they live in a cave?
Yeah, that's probably why they only live in
She's a shit leader.
So we transition to Castle Moray, where we see Gruart's hot dad, Bodhi. He's still hot, I think.
No, I think he's hotter now than he was before.
Okay, is it because his hair and beard finally match each other?
Yes.
They're both great.
It was so weird last time because he was in between phases, and it's like his beard hair didn't match his hair. Now he just looks like a cute chubby old man. I'm like, okay,
cute, chubby. Yeah, he's a dilf or a dilf, I guess.
No, he is a gilf.
He has a grandson now.
Yes, yeah.
He's like on Hudson's level,
aged like fine wine.
Yes. So he does it to Macbeth and is like, so, I don't know if you know this, but Duncan's army is like here to kill us. And Macbeth's like, but why? I saved his life and I let him lick my balls like 5 times on the camping trip that we just had.
My goodness.
But then he's like, okay, well if Duncan wants a fight, I'll give him a fight. And Bodhi's like, but we'll all die if you do that because Duncan has a bigger army than we are. So why don't you go and you can die and the rest of us will live? And then Gruart comes over. Gruart's like, she's super hot. She's serving Princess Jasmine energy to me.
You know whose energy she was serving to me?
Who?
Cousin Mel.
my cousin Mel now.
Oh shit!
She's gonna do the Macarena, whatever the fuck song that she sings.
Grandma's gonna sue the pants off of Santa.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just need her lesbian lawyer lover to be like involved in this, and I'll be like sad.
I would love if she were also
I
here.
am slime.
So she comes over, and Macbeth grabs her by the shoulders, and he just says, "Always remember, I love you." And she's like, "Why did you say that?" Like, he's so dramatic all of a sudden. So we're at the usual business now with these two, where like Macbeth's making super important decisions that affect her also as like part of his life, but not including her in them, not telling her about them, like straight problems, straight people problems.
Macbeth's not
1 to
really,
10.
yeah.
But whatever, like, he goes off, and she's like, wait, like, what's happening? He's just, like, he tells his son, like, take care of her, always. And he's just gone. So he does on horseback. By the way, Macbeth is, like, sporting, like, bare legs for, like, every scene.
Yeah,
episode
I think that's
again.
worth mentioning.
I first noticed it, like, while he was on horseback for some reason. I think because you just see more of his legs.
See, this is why I had no mind or attraction to Duncan, because I have Macbeth's legs.
Macbeth's legs are right
are
there.
just haunting me.
I'm pretty sure he's not wearing any underwear. He just has this short, like, little tunic skirt, and he's, like, just flashing.
I'm still just
everyone.
like shocked we never got an upskirt shot because like
See,
I've never
we
showed
get
everyone else.
we
but
get see, there's a couple upskirt shots that I kind of calculated in this episode.
Oh yeah.
There's the final battle, and then there's the scene after where he's like becomes the king and everything. Those shots in particular, I'm gonna be talking about.
Nice.
okay, because
There's no vivid visual imagery, but there's implication.
There's always implication. But okay, so he rides off on his own. It's a full moon, by the way, because it always is in this show, but I have to bring it up. But when he gets to what... Okay, is this like... I'm assuming this is like the meeting point he set up, right? Like, he just stops his horse at what seems like just a random place. Do we know why he does that?
No.
Did you catch...
Most likely, he's being manipulated by the fates to stop there, is the implication.
Maybe, but like there is some fog. So like he stops his horse, he gets down, and he notices Demona is there, like just literally lurking in the bushes, and he says like, "You are the answer." And she just says, "I am uninterested in the question." And she just like turns and walks away. Like she's such a bitch.
This is like
every time.
This is like almost like fucking Shakespearean opera drama. Like, you are the answer, and
she's just like,
she scurries
"No,
away
goodbye."
like a creature, like Kundi.
Yes, like Kundry from
Parsifal,
Parsifal, which we've started watching. The Wagnerian opera.
I love it so far.
It's beautiful.
It is really gorgeous. The version we're watching, the 1982 version.
Yes, you should all watch it, everyone. It's 4 hours long, so factor in that time.
No, I mean, you know, it's just time.
So Demona's walking away, and Macbeth's like, wait, hold on. We defeated the hunter, remember? Like, we've helped each other before. And she's like, yeah, well, that's the only reason I don't kill you right now, because I hate humans, you're a human, the only time I teamed up with you has been to kill humans, you don't remind me of myself at all, there's no connection between us, definitely not a magical one that will form in the next 5 minutes, so fuck you, get away from me.
She's just into men that are very dramatic and have their legs showing constantly.
They have to be at least as dramatic as she is.
Yeah, I mean that's why she.
Very few.
That's
can
why
qualify.
she liked Goliath. That's why she likes Macbeth. That's why she fucked. No, that's not why she fucked Brooklyn. But she just did that.
She did fuck Brooklyn's brother, so he must also be a very.
Well, yeah, no,
person.
she fucked her whole clan.
I mean, Brooklyn is one of the most dramatic characters in the show, so
yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Runs in the family.
I'm pretty sure she fucked Brooklyn. I know she fucks Thalog. She
also drama.
Thalog might be the only one who can out drama her. Like,
and she may or may not have fucked Thanatos, who also is.
I don't think she's fucked Thanatos.
You know, now that you mention it, she fucked Thanatos.
I don't think I'm going to disagree with you. Listeners, do you think Demona's fucked Thanatos? Please write in.
I mean, granted, Xanatos is probably already with Fox at the time, but even Fox and Xanatos have they have an open thing.
I do think Demona has fucked Fox, so I don't know what that says about me. I'm pretty sure she's fucked Fox, but not Xanatos.
If you get into Xanatos' pants, you are also getting into Fox's pants. So they probably had a three-way. Oh, and Owen is also like kind of like their sex toy accessory. So, you know, just by those two alone, you're in that throuple. Like, you're in that throuple once you fuck one of them, you fuck all of them.
I feel like if Demona was like in on that, then like she and Fox would be like taking Xanatos from like either side, you know.
Okay,
and
well,
Xanatos is just like being
she wasn't like in on it, but she gave like little like side, you know, like she had like little side. The viewers can't see it, but the listeners can't see it. But I'm doing a gesture
doing, like,
right
a
now.
Jerk-off motion.
Yeah, she probably just did it. Listen, to get her way, she'll do anything.
She will do anything.
Like I've been there, sister, and I feel for you. Like, go for it.
I feel like it has to be on her terms too, though.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How else would you take control of it?
Okay. Where the hell am I in my notes?
What the fuck am I talking about?
We were talking about they just arrived at the Weird Sisters, and she was like being dramatic.
So Demona like rebuffs him, but Macbeth keeps at it because he's a good egg, and he's just like, hey, if you help me protect my clan, I'll protect your clan. Like, I'll keep them safe forever. And Demona's just like, yeah, I've heard that before from another bearded daddy human who had weird crushes on gargoyles, and it all went wrong, but in a way that definitely wasn't my fault. Just then, a blast of magical wind, like, just blasts them both. The Weird Sisters show up. I'm gonna say this is, like, their true form, or as true as they have.
Probably the closest visual reference to what they actually appear to be.
Yeah, they look like young women, you know, attractive. They're like elvish. They
blonde,
have flowing white
blonde,
robes.
redhead, brunette.
Yeah, their robes have a slit in them to show off their sexy legs.
Yeah,
I love that.
Speaking of their appearances, apparently Greg Wiseman had to fight tooth and nail pretty much everyone else on the team to have them change appearance based on who was looking at them because everyone thought it was stupid.
Oh, interesting.
But that's such a good scene, though.
I think that really adds.
I'm glad he fought for that because that was a really good scene.
Yeah,
it makes.
This is honestly the best animated scene in this episode, I think.
There's a lot going on in this scene, but like, so yeah, like I'll just say, like when Macbeth looks at them, he sees the three witches who he'd previously spoken to with Duncan, and when Demona looks at them, she sees the three gargoyle crones who gave her advice in the past. So they both see the version like that they know, and that the fates, furies, whatever you want to call them, like are choosing to appear to them as. But I feel like we, the viewer, are like seeing their actual true nature, I guess.
Yeah.
But it feels like very Sandman-esque. Like every time these three show up, I'm reminded of Sandman usually because they have a similar vibe, and because they also appear in Sandman as very important characters. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so they appear to them, and they say, like, a bargain like this calls for an act of good faith. And Macbeth and Demona are like, what are you talking, like, there is no bargain. What are you talking about? But they ask, like, well, what do each of you want? So Demona says she wants her youth restored. And they're like, Macbeth, what would you trade for that? And he says, anything to save his family. So the three sisters, they then link their hands together, they form a circle around Macbeth and Demona, who are now like back to back, and not looking very happy that their butts are touching. But I think maybe they kind of are happy about that. So the three sisters, they start chanting, and it's fucking sick. They say, across the mists of space and time, we pose this covenant sublime. Macbeth his youth doth offer here, to make this one a force to fear, while she with fang and claw and wing doth swear sweet death his foes to bring. By their acceptance are they consigned, unto each other's fate resigned, forever and eternal bound, and each the other's pain resound. And while they're saying all that, Demona and Macbeth, they're like rising magically into the air, and it's like a tube of light encompasses them. It sort of looks like they're being abducted by aliens.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's super, like, it looks so fucking good. And we see Macbeth, he ages, like, unnaturally till he looks like the age of the Macbeth that we know in the present day.
He gets all the silver daddy features without having to, like, suffer for it.
Yes. While at the same time, Demona de-ages until she's like the feisty, like sexy redhead that we're most familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
The horse that Macbeth rode in on also glows red during this segment. I don't know why. Because nothing else involving the horse happens, but the horse also glows red. I just feel that's
The horse was
very
a witness.
important.
Horse was a witness.
The horse also made a Faustian bargain, perhaps. So after the two are set down, and like they take a moment to breathe, and they're sort of like feeling themselves up, like, oh, I'm hotter now. Like Demona's young again. Macbeth is feeling that hot dad energy that he's now going to use for untold centuries after this.
Mm-hmm.
The three sisters are like, "Welp, our job is done. Bye." And they just fucking leave. But as they're going, one of them is like, "Make haste. The storm is coming," because they're overdramatic like that. And one of them, the black-haired one, whose name is Celine, she stays behind. And she says, "And know this, when Duncan spoke, Giltumgane quickly did his bidding. Duncan ordered your father's murder." To which Macbeth is like, "What?" And then she floats this very anime-looking glowing ball of light over to him that he just like holds. So I looked Celine up, and it turns out that her aspect in the three is like she's the sister of vengeance, and when she's in Ascendance, the Weird Sisters, like that's when they are the Furies. And I don't want to spoil anything because Huron hasn't reached this point yet in Sandman, but the Furies, if you know, you know. They're very vengeful. So I just think that I thought that was neat. I didn't know that before until I looked it up.
Yes, that was specifically why she was chosen for that scene, according to Greg.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting because I just saw it as like, oh yeah, by the way, he was evil the whole time. And then I'm just like, okay, way to stir the pot even more.
Yeah, like she's the real pot stirrer here. She's like, oh, I want them to fight. I think this will be good.
Yeah, but that's what I saw it as. But I'm glad that you had that insight and that research that I did not.
I don't know what this ball of light that she gives him is. Like, even on the Guard Wiki, is just... I think it's just called Ball of Light on the Wiki.
It's called Celine's Orb, I think.
Celine's Orb. Like,
But
what the fuck is this orb?
I can tell you what Greg said about the orb, but
yeah?
it does kind of spoil the next scene it's in. So, shall we wait? Or...
It's up to you. Well, how about you, when you cover that scene, you can talk about it. Because that'll be in your part.
Yeah.
So, okay. We transition again. We're now at an army site. Macbeth is preparing to battle Duncan's forces. And like Bodhi is there, Gruach is there. I wish we sort of like heard Gruach's opinion on her husband suddenly being 30 years older. But she seems cool with it.
She's
like,
into it.
Like he must have told her that like, hey, I made this deal.
She didn't even question it. She's like, damn, is it just me or are you like more grisly?
So rugged, as they say on Dexter's Lab.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. She don't care.
But so she's fine, and then Demona comes in. And it's like, so, okay, are we gonna start killing people soon? But then Demona observes Macbeth and Gruach saying goodbye to each other, and it's like it's real subtle. But we get a pretty close look at Demona's face as they do this, and the shipping fuel is already burning in me because Macbeth and Demona are my biggest hetero ship in this show, and I feel like it's finally starting. We're finally starting to see the beginnings of it.
I saw different layers of emotion there because she looks at Macbeth with his wife, and earlier in City of Stone, she saved them both because their love reminded herself of her love for Goliath.
Yes.
So that's what she's thinking of when she's seeing them together.
I feel like when they're saying goodbye, that's reminding her of when she and Goliath said goodbye.
Like, Goliath at this point is still, like, frozen in stone, self-administered. So it's just, like, that's still sitting raw with her, and it's, like, eating her up, and she's just, like, a bottomless pit of despair, naturally being Demona. So, yeah, there's that, along with the fact that, Macbeth is, like, the closest thing to that's been close to her, and now they're bonded together, like spiritually now. Yes. Like, their menstrual cycles are all synced up. So now there's, like, some...
They're gonna be synced up for eternity.
So now there's, like, some tension there, and she's like, damn, okay.
Yeah, I do think that is definitely another level to it. And that there's... that's the reason I love this show so much, is because like they do little things like this, and like you can read into like there's multiple ways to read into it, and I like that about this show.
Speaking of, sorry, you were just talking about the fact that she didn't react. So according to Greg, again, because I have a few Greg notes on this episode, he very strongly, in every note for that scene, said that she should be running her hair through, her hand through his hair when she was talking to him about the price he paid.
Yes, I did notice that. Like, so she's aware that he.
Well, no, he didn't. She didn't, because they didn't animate it. They
didn't
animate it. So that's why he feels a little missing, because that was supposed to be a thing where she's like making very clear that's what she's talking
from
about.
her dialogue, I picked up on that anyway. Because what else would she mean?
Can I also add one more comment?
Yes, of course.
And this is X-Men related.
Yes!
Oh no.
I got way more from this interaction in this scene of Demona looking at Macbeth and Gulag than I ever felt anything with Wolverine and his whole thing with like Jean and Cyclops. Like, that shit still doesn't make sense to me, and it annoys me how consistent it is in the first season.
Just the first season of X-Men, like, it just starts, and the love triangle is already present. We don't know why, though. And also, Jean on that show is a personality of, like, a pile of bricks. So, like, we never understand why even Scott's into her. We definitely don't know why Wolverine is into her. And why they're fighting over her, but like...
Like, I don't know if that makes me sound biased, because I'm more of a Gargoyles fan, but like, it just...
No, I love X-Men for many reasons, but that love triangle is not one of them, and it never has been.
And this love triangle is so much more interesting. I'm like, okay, so this is how you make, like, a drama.
Mm-hmm. And like, all three characters in it are, like, likable. Like, Gruach gets the least development, but, like, I still like Gruach.
Yeah, she's not a bad character.
You know?
She's just kind of an object of fixation.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, like, she lives with it.
She does. She makes...
Any woman that has fucked Macbeth, like, I have the utmost respect for. I'm like, you get it, sister.
She's bathed his legs many times.
He's a male wife.
I feel like he would be a male wife. Like, I feel like he dotes on her.
Yeah, like this particular variant in Gargoyles Macbeth is a male wife.
I feel like he'd be a really good husband.
No, yeah, he's hot.
But okay, so after that, we move on. It's time for the big battle. So we see two armies fighting.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's this really funny scene where, like, Macbeth is, like, trying to tell, like, his family to get to safety, but the way I heard it, there was so much phlegm in his voice when he said their names. It was like, take Grog and Lach behind the lines to safety. I'm just like, wait.
Like, if I didn't know that those were their names, I also would have been confused. Because in classical, like, Scottish language.
It's very alien to me, I guess. I mean, I'm familiar with the Macbeth story in certain increments. I register it differently. Like, there are some characters that just never really, like, registered with me memory-wise, so...
Yeah.
Alright, I'm done.
So, okay. Right. Big battles happening. Macbeth's army, they seem to be holding their own, but they're hard-pressed. A line of cavalry moves in. Things aren't looking good. And then we see Demona's clan arrive. They're outlined against the moon. Her clan seems to be only 5 people, but they make it work. They do what needs to be done. So they join the fight. There's this amazing scene where Demona, like, crashes into this entire line of guys, knocks them all off their horses. Because she's at the height of her powers again. She's young, she's strong. And Macbeth compliments her because he says that she fights like a demon. And she gives, like, a little smirk at that. Like, yeah, I do.
She likes demons.
Yeah, well,
and so does Macbeth.
Yeah, he's sort of into demons.
Of course, that line, it was a big no-no with S&P.
What?
Yeah, demon is a banned word that they're not allowed to use.
How did they get it through?
So Greg had to go to his boss, and his boss went to his boss's boss, and both of them were like, yes, this is an incredibly critical line that needs to be in, otherwise we can't establish why Demona's named what she is.
Okay, also it's really funny that the word demon isn't allowed, but her name has been Demona for the entire show.
I think that's part of why they won the argument, was they pointed out
the character's literally named Demona. The show's already been airing. What are you gonna do about it? She's a demon.
That's really
we get
fun.
it.
Like, every fight I hear they had to do, I'm always just like, that's silly. But I'm glad that they it seems like they won, like, the important fights.
Yeah.
I'm glad
So,
City of Stone is what it is.
I am too. I fucking love this episode.
Well, I mean, the result of one of their other fights is also in this episode, but we'll get to that.
Oh, I can't wait.
You can guess what it is.
Oh, the death scene. Yeah, I didn't read about that one actually.
Yeah.
So, okay, we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so we go to Macbeth, who's I don't know why he's not with his army anymore, but he's like somewhere else now, and he gets ambushed by Duncan's right-hand man, who has a big red mullet.
New daddy.
I had to look him up, but this is actually Macduff, it turns
Yes.
out, although he's not named in this episode.
He is in the credits.
Yes. And then Duncan shows up, and he says, "Time for a little family reunion, cousin." And then Demona also drops in, and she's like, "Why did I kill all of you?" But Macbeth says no, he's going to kill Duncan. So they're fighting.
By the way, I think it's on my section, is it not?
No.
Really?
No, there's a commercial break.
Yeah, because the gargoyles swoop in. That's when the
No, the commercial is after the fight.
Oh, because you gave the timestamp you gave me was before the commercial.
Did I?
Yeah.
Because we probably
You gave me
didn't.
1428.
We can both cover this section.
Okay. Well,
This will be fun.
it's fine. Because I just noticed that I'm like, wait a second, I have all of these lines written word for word in my notes. Hold on. You brought this on yourself, cuz.
Yeah, I thought
I
it was
was
so
loyal.
funny that he said "cuz."
Damn.
Because it also did remind me of the Sailor Moon dub. I was like,
Yeah.
"What
He's
the
pulling
fuck
up
is
that
saying
hip lingo, you know? Duncan's hip.
Yeah, you have a treacherous way of showing it.
Okay, what does
Which
that
is
even
so
mean?
stupid.
Okay, because Macbeth hasn't done anything, though!
Yeah, it's strange.
He only started doing anything when Duncan attacked him with an army.
And Duncan's like, you dare not just concede immediately when I attack you with an army?
Like-
How dare you?
Oh my god.
You're making deals with gargoyles to attack me? That's definitely a thing that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Treacherous human.
So that's when Duncan's that's when Macduff
Yeah.
runs in to help Duncan, and Demona just picks him up and just throws him into the side of a cliff, and it's so funny to watch.
Yeah, it is funny. You think he's okay? You think he's dead?
I'm sure. Well, we know that he lives to. Well, maybe he's already sired offspring by now. Maybe he is dead. I don't know.
Well, we know he shows up in City of Stone Part 4, so...
Okay, great.
Okay.
He's fine.
Yeah, he just got a little bump on the noggin as well.
Although he's voiced by a different person in that episode because stuff happened.
I didn't even know he had lines in this episode. What, he had a battle cry?
Something. I don't know. He's going to be voiced by Jeff Bennett next time.
Well,
so.
okay. He
Jeff
had the
Bennett,
lines.
He Brooklyn.
And Owen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Owen, yes.
When they were first going to the cave in the beginning, he was the guy who was like, "Why are we
Just
doing this now and not at
human
sunrise?"
geos.
I think
And then, of course, we go back to the sword battle between the two of them. And, Macbeth is losing.
sword shattered. I feel like this has
Yeah.
happened to him multiple times. Did his sword get shattered earlier?
No,
too?
it got knocked out of his hand earlier. It didn't get
He always
shattered.
gets disarmed somehow, and then he's always on his back, legs up, be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
please don't fuck me." I
Okay.
feel like this happened to him so many times.
You notice how in modern day Macbeth, he never uses swords. He's always using grappling
has a-
guns and all
or
these
his
booby
bare
traps,
hands.
or his bare hands.
Yeah.
He's never been good with swords, and he accepted that at some point.
Yeah, he must have. Good for him.
So, he pulls out the
The anime light ball.
anime light ball from his pouch and just tosses it at Macbeth. Not having a clue, what it's actually... at Duncan. Not having a clue what it's actually supposed to do.
In that case, I don't know why he does it, but he's just like,
Well, because she told him that it would grant him his vengeance if he used it.
Did she? Did she say that?
Yes.
Not she.
Okay.
Well, not directly, but she
There
had
was- there
very
was-
strongly implied.
There was implication.
That's why she was handing it to him.
Cool.
Duncan killed your father. Take this ball.
Yeah.
So
So
Duncan's sword hits the anime light ball, and then he fucking just dies.
Like, he does
screen.
not just,
It's
like,
like an
die.
Indiana Jones
You can,
death.
yeah, please describe, I can describe
Yes,
it if you want. We can,
Well, I'm just one point.
It's like a fucking
The best thing I
metal
can say
album
is it's
cover.
an Indiana Jones death because, like,
Yeah.
he bursts into flames from his eyes and his mouth and, like, burns up and shrills in from the inside.
like, it's like magic, like, he's so full of
He
magic
turned
suddenly
into
that
a
it's, like, leaking out of
jack-o'-lantern.
him.
Yeah.
Like, he lights on fire, like, his eyes, like, are not in their sockets anymore.
No.
His mouth is pitch black. Like, he has no tongue. Like, his body gets fucked up on screen.
He looks like a Slayer album cover.
So, if you hadn't guessed, this was the result of another S&P fight where they discussed the idea of having him stabbed on screen, but that was a no-no.
No, we can't have that, but we can have his body, like, horrifically mutilated. And we can see, like...
Well, because the last 2 episodes in a row, they used the same solution when
The
S&P
Disney
said
death?
no to the sword death by thrring him off the cliff.
And
So
which
this
makes it
time...
so funny, because we see all of this, but then Duncan also still falls off the cliff after it!
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Greg, when he was
I've-
rewatching the episode, was like, I can't believe we actually threw him off a cliff after we finally wanted to not throw him off a cliff.
Like, this is the deadest man I have ever seen. There is no coming back from that. I made a tweet earlier. I just put, like, this frame of him, like, with his eyes
Oh my
open,
God.
and just, like, the Metalocalypse dude, he's, like, brutal.
Yeah.
And then, like, some E91 Tech Ninja responds with me seeing this scene as a kid. It's what she deserves.
Yes! Okay, that was pretty
Yeah.
much me, too. Because I loved every death in the show as a
Yeah.
kid. I was like, good, they deserve to die. But this probably is, like, the bloodiest death they've had on screen without actually showing any blood in it. But, like, it's pretty intense.
It's nightmare fuel death.
I feel
love
like
it.
if S&P
so
acquiescing to the
cool.
sword death would have been a lot nicer to the kids.
Like, you can just have the sword sound effect. You don't need to even see the sword enter the body. You know?
Like, he
Just have
gets
the
stabbed and then he
noise.
throws himself off a cliff. That's no matter
We
what.
don't need the cliff.
No matter what, he's going
We don't
over
need
the
a cliff.
cliff. No matter what.
There's always a convenient
Wait,
cliff
Macbeth
nearby.
and them,
Well, okay,
they were fighting towards the cliff too, just like the princess in the first fucking
There's-
episode.
Oh my gosh, he ran right for it.
Which I would like to
What is
point.
with cliffs?
I would like to point out that do you remember what's at the bottom of that cliff though? Duncan's army is standing at the bottom of that cliff. So his
Right,
body
'cause
fell
they're-
off straight down into his army.
Okay, I thought it was so
Yeah.
funny later on when we see the
Crowd
army, it turns out they were all,
surfing.
like, right there, and I'm like, I had no idea there's a whole crowd of people, like, 10 feet away from them this whole time.
They were all like, this is the most metal shit I've ever seen. Let's all just, like, surrender now and listen to this guy, because I don't want that to happen to me.
So, okay. After that event, Demona sees the hunter mask, like, steaming on the ground along with Duncan's sword and helmet, because I guess, like all hunters, he was just wearing the mask, like, ready to be the hunter at any time. But she sees it and is like, oh, like, this guy was trying to kill me. And Macbeth's like, oh, this is great, like, we killed my enemy, and turns out he was also your enemy. So that means we can both stop fighting. And they have a little moment together where they're like, oh good, we've killed someone who we didn't like. And then Bodhi is, like, right there, like I already said, like, everyone's suddenly right there. And he's like, woo! The night is won! And then, like, the whole army cheers like it's a bad Tumblr post, is how I wrote it. And then everybody cheered. It's how it
Hail Macbeth, King of Scotland.
It was like Burning Man, you know, there was literally a Burning Man and everyone was like fucking turning it up.
So that's where the commercial break really is. So that's
Okay.
where I'll leave you.
Yeah, because that's definitely like 3 minutes after the timestamp you gave me.
I guess I gave you the wrong one. I apologize.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, it comes back to everyone yelling, "Hail Macbeth, King of Scotland!" Yes.
I forgot to mention the first, like, shot when, like, Duncan has Macbeth, like, on the cliff while they're sword fighting. There is a shot. Duncan's fucking leg is in the way, but there is a shot where you could see up Macbeth's skirt,
Really?
theoretically. Just Duncan's leg is in the way, but there is thigh there.
So is Macbeth's, like, are his legs, like, spread?
They would be if Duncan's leg wasn't in the fucking shot.
I want to know what the
Damn,
cell
you
looked
Duncan.
like without, because obviously this was all cell animated.
I thought they drew that.
We might get to see Macbeth's balls.
His butt, maybe. You remember when Broadway was a human and like we saw everything?
Yeah, no,
that
he showed his full ass. Like
yeah,
that was
like we saw his ass.
like
Yeah.
I've seen every inch of Broadway.
And it's beautiful.
It really is. So I'll let you proceed, but there is another scene coming up like that. Just letting you know.
So okay, so we have very quick. Brody again. It's just like, where are your manners, boys? Customary to bow down to your king. And we pan over and we see that he's talking to Canmore, who is mini Farquaad.
Oh yeah, the ugly fucking
Duncan's
baby.
little bitch of a son.
Like
Yeah.
I forgot he like spawned.
Yeah, and he yells back, "If my father is dead, then I am king. Bow down to me." And everyone's just like, "No."
Yeah, I don't think that rule is in effect
No,
still. If it's a
kid-
violent insurrection, that
No,
makes a
kid,
new
this is
king.
not Game of Thrones. We don't put like man-child in charge.
Oh my
of
god,
it.
he reminds me of that fucking kid from... Who is that?
Joffrey?
Joffrey?
Yeah.
he's like the same character.
No one fucking likes Joffrey. He's literally written to be a piece of shit.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, take that as you will.
Well, and then of course Bodhi's. So the kid is just like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab someone's knife and try and stab the new king of England. And the only person who acts to stop him is Demona of all people.
I guess she's right there, you know.
I know, but she just grabs him, like crushes his wrist and throws him back down.
Macbeth has spared your life, boy.
Oh.
Don't throw it away.
And of course, Bodhi was like, "If he will be trouble, slay him now." Because, yeah,
I sort of like how cold-blooded Bodhi has become. Like in every episode he's been in, he's always the very practical one.
Yeah.
But like he's also like, damn, like he's sort of wow.
I know. So it's rare where I agree that killing children is the right choice, but in this particular case, I agree killing children is the right choice. Maybe abortion is okay.
Oh my god. I feel like this is like the Renegade versus Paragon option here. Like Macbeth is like you can see like the dialogue wheel
Yeah,
of
but
murder child.
Except
or
unlike
exile child.
unlike Mass Effect, the choices matter. Just throwing shade.
okay. So of course, when he gets thrown back down, he somehow manages to grab his father's mask. That
Of course.
It's
course
like
he
so
did.
weird. Like he just kind of like sneaks it in the middle of the commotion.
No,
And
it's
then-
not like a whole bunch of people are looking at him at the moment.
He just tried to kill the king.
It's not okay, but it's also not like only a handful of people even know what that mask means.
Yeah. So the normal person is just like, oh, that's a sick Halloween mask.
Oh
Yeah.
he's gonna be like a ski mask boy. He's gonna listen to Yunlin and like wear ski masks like they all do.
But yeah, he walks away and he just gives the most evil smile you've ever seen a child give.
It's disgusting.
Okay, but-
I want to smack him.
So Macbeth decides not to kill him, but
Yeah.
to exile him to England.
Yes.
I felt like someone
You
said
have
that.
to go to London.
Yeah, I skipped over that part of my
town.
notes when I accidentally rewrote things, but whatever.
Please, so may I have
Okay.
some more?
Alright, and now we're about to get into comic stuff, because...
Oh.
thus, so, we move over to the coronation, where we see, Macbeth
balls.
still showing full legs,
Still
but
not
this
wearing
is the
pants.
but dressed in all white this time.
If he did
You
not
look
have,
beautiful.
if he did not have that weird middle loincloth part, we would be
would
seeing
see
some
them.
fine Scottish meatballs right now.
Yeah.
That's all I am saying.
Yep. But meanwhile, he's doing his coronation, where he's like, "And thus, High King, I swear by the Stone of Destiny to protect Scotland and to serve her people all these days." Which, for anyone who's read the second set of Gargoyles comics, not the current one.
The ones that matter.
Yeah, not the Marvel
Not
one,
the
not the
Marvel
current
one.
one, but the second set.
When did those come out? 2010-ish?
No, it
I
was
don't
before
even
that.
know.
They were 2000 somewhere, but...
Okay. It's been a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stone of Destiny is like one of the two major plot arcs that gets covered in those comics.
It's so good. And it's a real world object, which is, it actually is used in the coronation of Scottish kings.
Yeah.
But what else is it?
I don't understand that plot arc, like, at all.
So it's been various other important, like, sacred and or magical stones throughout history and mythology.
Like, I know it's the stone that the Excalibur was sealed in.
Yes, it was the sword and the stone. It was Jacob's pillow. It was the Hebrew sacred stone, which I'm not sure what that is. It's been the Philosopher's Stone, the Rock of Gibraltar, the Pillars of Hercules, among many. Like, the list was actually, like, twice as long as what I just said. I left a bunch out because there was a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, so this is the first appearance of this stone within the show, I believe. But, like, it's very important to the overall Gargoyles mythos, at least once the comics start up.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought I knew you were gonna ask me what else it was. I'm like, I don't remember a single one of them.
I shouldn't have asked you when I had the list, like, in front of me.
I'm like, I don't know. I didn't look up the list. I was just gonna bring up the fact that it was a bunch of other stones. Anyways, so meanwhile, we have the celebrations that are going on, and Demona and Macbeth start talking.
I love that Demona was invited to the coronation. Like, it feels like she and her gargoyle is, like, a part of the court.
Yeah.
It's definitely very different than how it was before.
No, yeah, like, everything here seems so much more accepting with, like, Macbeth as the king. It's almost like this was a long time coming, but is it too good to be true? ... Question mark. We will see.
Yeah. So, of course, he tells her that humans will learn to respect you.
I would rather they feared me.
They'll do that too, Demona. And she's just so pleased at that name.
I like the sound of that.
She looks and then
she's so into it.
She's already, like, smiling like a Cheshire cat, and he's just like, I hereby declare Demona my primary advisor.
Whoa.
And everyone's just cheers.
Everyone is, because the gargoyles just saved them. Like, they won the battle because of the gargoyle.
There was a decent chance that people would have, like, gotten and made a hitsy fit about this anyway.
Because remember Princess Catherine's court and how they reacted to Goliath and Demona showing up at their dinner after they saved their asses?
Gosh.
So, like, this is like that again, but good this time.
Listen, I mean, like, a lot of time has passed since then, you know? Nature is healing.
Like, you can see on Demona's face, like, her internally being like, maybe it can be different this time. And, like, it's really nice in the moment, but it's even more heartbreaking, like, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, like, for this, like, one scene, it's so nice.
Should have killed the kid.
I'm so happy for her, and yes, they should have murdered that child.
I'm sure all this could have been avoided.
Should have taken the renegade option.
I'm pretty sure the Fates would have made sure they still...
There'll always be a hunter. They'll make that happen. Yeah. These three wenches.
So, okay. So,
by the way, they're there. They're there as ale ladies.
Yes, that's
I'm sorry.
what I'm trying to say. So, as we move around the court, see everyone celebrating, and we focus in, and we see a woman pouring water. And then we pan over, we see two other women, and you realize, again, it's the Fates in yet another disguise. Because you've got the white, black, red hair.
They won't leave these two alone.
And then it fades out and fades into the police station in the present, where we see the Fates now as three police officers.
This is one of my favorite versions of this, because it's like, I remember when I first watched the show, I think, like, I was a slow child. Just like, so, like, this was, like, one of the first times, like, wait a second, this is also them! Like, I was putting it together as, like, a 10-year-old. Like, whoa! Like, it blew my mind.
Like, I almost missed it watching it this time, and then I took a closer look, I'm like, wait, is that three women? Oh, yeah, no, that's three women, that's them.
So do you know who the man is that they're calming down?
No, who is this?
This man is the father of the two kids that we saw in the PAX introductory episode.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, so he's the husband of the future... She's important. The blonde lady with glasses.
No. This is not Brennan and Margot.
No. It's the other one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, because she's gonna do something in the comics. I forget what she does.
Isn't she like a anti-gargoyle? Like...
No, that's Margot.
Oh yeah. Well, wasn't she...
No, that is her. She joins the
The clan?
The KKK people, the Mason brothers, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Hunter people.
Yeah, she becomes one of them, I think. She becomes super racist.
She just couldn't cope with the fact that their son is like a fanboy for Wolf, who is also gay,
and a
she's
furry.
she's like, no, I have to be homophobic now.
Yeah, so this is that guy who's like throwing a hissy fit about the fact that he doesn't remember last night.
Did not realize that. Yes, and the 3 policewomen are like, calm down, sir. Like, we'll take care of you. And I'm like...
And he just pans away, and you're like, what the hell was that? But we don't get an answer, because instead we're looking at Chief Chavez's door. Mm-hmm. And we hear them talking, and zoom in, and it's... they're discussing what happened. And Chavez asks Elisa, any thoughts, Maza?
No good ones.
And
or
then...
something like that.
Yeah, no good ones. That's exactly it. And then, of course... Bluestone looks just like, oh no. He's incredibly worried at her reaction because she's like, she's gonna go do something stupid.
But
Chavez,
he didn't go with her though.
Chavez,
He's like, I guess she'll just go with
No, because we gotta get to part 2. Chavez also has that look for just a moment. Then she glares at Bluestone like, you better go with her.
But he doesn't.
I know!
See, okay.
Where does he go?
When you started talking about this scene, I thought you were like avoiding mentioning that Matt Bluestone was there. And then you're like talking about his reaction, and then I'm like, oh god, no, he is there, isn't he? I was almost had the peace of mind. It's not that I hate him.
So, I don't know. There was something really wonky about those reactions, because I'm like, what was that?
I don't know
because
they have like these incredibly strong facial reactions, and hers is like, she goes through Chavez goes through like several emotions, and I'm just like, what was that?
What was Elisa's answer?
No good ones.
Oh,
okay. Well, what they learned though that led to this is they learned that the broadcast, Demona's broadcast, came from Pack Media Studios.
Yes.
Which, you know, they all know who that's owned by.
So they all know exactly who she's going after.
Yeah.
Because you know.
Once again, the Pack is mentioned as a reference source leading back to Xanatos, but they're off doing their own little like scallywag things right now. I'm sure.
That's right. They're all having gay hookups.
Probably. I don't know. Who knows what's going on? We'll find out in a few episodes.
Yes, it's coming.
But I do have to ask, like, if everyone in the city forgot what happened last night, why do you go to the police station and like demand to be told what happened last night?
Because you think that they're keeping things from the public. This is how conspiracies start, okay? Like, and also, if something like this did happen, I would assume a lot of people would be panicking.
I know.
Like this, I do feel like this is a natural thing.
I'm just saying, people are stupid. That's all.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So we go to Castle Wyvern.
Yes, so we go to Castle Wyvern, and you hear the elevator coming up, and before it's even opened, Owen's just like, the charming Detective Maza.
Okay, before we get to that, I just want to say we see Owen like welding.
Oh, yes,
because he's in full like butch mode.
Ooh.
And he's working on the steel plan, and I was into it because Owen is beautiful and wonderful.
So like he just knows it's her because he knows who else would be showing up through our private elevator right now.
Don't they see her coming on the? I think they see her coming on the security camera.
Maybe that's what it was. I didn't write
Owen's
that down.
got more pressing matters to deal with. He's turning to stone in a few minutes here.
He is turning to stone in a few minutes. He has to like modify 1800 steel
probably,
plan
like,
robots
heard the
on
old-
his own.
he
So I don't think Xanatos helped him.
He probably you know Xanatos didn't help for shit other than funding his like money stuff. And then it's like he heard the alert that Elisa was coming up, and he's like, oh, I don't have time for this shit.
Anyways, she comes in and she's like, the broadcast originated at Pack Media Studios. You own it. So as usual, this is your fault. Like, just go straight for the throat. No preamble, no intro.
There's no like, hello, how are you? She's like, no, you did this. Like,
yeah, she's getting to the bottom of it.
So Owen just replies, Mr. Xanatos is trying to fix things. What are you doing about it?
so
and then
bitchy.
cue this incredibly poorly animated struggle before they turn into stone.
Stupid.
At least he admitted that Xanatos did fuck this up.
Yeah.
But Lisa's like, oh, what am I doing to help? And she's like,
I wish it would like actually show her just like strangling, like throttling like Owen.
Love.
Yeah.
Instead, it just kind of shows her like awkwardly touch his shoulders before they turn to stone.
And then they go like, stone. And Xanatos is like, that's one way to stop an argument.
Yeah.
Cue laugh track in his head that no one else can
And then,
hear.
of course,
he's insane.
like, a minute later, the gargoyles drop in because they apparently know. I don't know. He left a sticky note on their face.
He
or
must
something.
have. He probably left it on their
You left a
butt.
sticky
On
note
their
on their face.
Well,
Well, how else would they know to regroup
That's
here?
cute.
Yeah.
clearly, he left them a note. Is what
That's what
I
I do. I leave people sticky notes with little happy faces on it, so that way they know who sent it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it just annoys people, but you know.
No.
So okay, so meanwhile, Goliath is immediately like, "What is Elisa doing here?" And Brooklyn just adds, "She doesn't look happy."
Okay, at least he recognizes her this time. Because last time he didn't.
Who, Goliath or Brooklyn?
No, Brooklyn thought that the Elisa statue was badly made. It didn't even look like her. Remember?
That's funny.
She's like, "Oh no, this can't be like this is
The
defensive."
nose is all wrong.
Yes, that happened. So Xanatos, of course, replies, "Owen sometimes has that effect on people."
You know,
Winky cat face.
he can be a bitch sometimes. He's a bit of my bitch sometimes.
And of course, we get a whole bunch of explanation, which I'm not quoting, but basically, it's all him explaining his plan to make the sky burn by covering it in gas and blowing up his Steel Clan robots.
Yeah, they're all gonna fly over the city with these packs
Why do they need to send the gargoyles too?
Yeah.
Yes. But the gargoyles aren't wearing explosive packs. They're only dispersing the gas.
At least according to Xanatos.
According to Xanatos.
Xanatos.
And then they have to get out of there before the gas blows up. Of course, Xanatos is also going up with them as well. He also, so...
That's
Okay,
true.
okay, alright, so, you know, but what if he didn't rig his to explode?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, when
either
the Steel
way...
Clan explodes, all the gas will explode. So as long as they're not in the upper stratosphere or whatever
Yeah.
he says, they'll be okay. They just have to not be
So
in
they're
the
going.
sky.
So they're gonna be in the upper stratosphere at some point, is what I'm getting.
No, yes, that's where they're dispersing
That's
the gas.
where they're just, yeah.
Then, so they go up there, and then they have to drop down in order to get out of range once they've dispersed their gas.
It all makes sense if it weren't Xanatos
If,
behind it.
if you want us to explain, Xanatos used a bunch of much bigger words than that to explain, and I
I'm not a
understand what he
scientist,
said,
and
but
I'm not gonna try
that's
to
the gist,
understand
though.
it.
Anyways, in the middle of all this explaining, he just stops all of a sudden. It's like, that tapestry is from the 12th century, quite rare and valuable. Because Bronx is just over there scratching at one of the tapestries on the wall.
And it has. The tapestry has a unicorn
Yes,
on
it
it,
does.
and it looks beautiful. I love this tapestry. I want it for our house here. It would look great.
Let's hope our Bronx doesn't like.
Well, that's why we put the tapestries above dog range.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, anyways, so they finish explaining, and Goliath's just like, very well, this has to work. Because he doesn't have any other ideas, I guess.
I think, okay, when they wear these gas pack things, by the way, it sort of looks like they're wearing, leather, body harnesses, and I'm sort of into it.
Seeing Goliath wear it reminded me of the Vin Diesel poster when he was in the movie The Pacifier, when he had all the nanny fanny pack stuff on, but he's super muscular and everything.
It's hot.
That's what Goliath reminds me of when he's wearing the pack. I'm like, okay, you're just a dad.
He's just, it's his, yes. It's where he milks his babies from. When Lexington is hungry, he just takes out, a milk bottle, shoves it in his mouth.
You know the
It's a normal
scene where
thing to
the
say.
little girl asks Vin Diesel, "Why are your boobs so big?" is from that movie.
Is that from that movie?
Yeah,
I
it
haven't
is.
seen the movie, but I know that scene.
I did see the movie because I was a Disney child, and anything that ever aired on Disney I watched.
Vin Diesel is hot.
Vin Diesel is hot.
I
Yeah.
watch pretty much anything he's in.
Yeah,
if I get to look at
it's
him.
just he's taking care of children that entire movie,
Dad mode.
which is the gist. That's what it's Vin Diesel as a nanny. You guys will
That's
like this,
hot.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
Anyways, they all take off, and I swear they use jet shows as ID tracing or as reference material for this, because they fly a train jet show, leaving the trails behind them, and I'm just like, what is this?
I think you're right. Actually, I need to go back to old episodes of Macross, and because I know for a fact that several scenes in that show were traced from jet shows, and I feel one of them when the gargoyles all converge and
yeah, that
fly
one. That's
apart,
what I'm talking about in particular.
that looks
that's
exactly the same as the scene
based
from
off-
Macross.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's from a old film of a jet
Yeah, I'm sure these animators all have access to that footage. It's been used like countless times, probably.
Yeah. So like that's the most interesting thing going on in that scene. Honestly,
there is a really close up shot of like the gargoyles like butt when it like the robot gargoyles butt when it like
there?
I captured
but
it. I posted it to Twitter, but I can see some butt cheek in it.
Like metal butt cheek.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I love that Xanatos was like, we have to make sure these robot gargoyles have like.
Hold on, I can pull it up.
It has to be closer to life in every way, including the butt cheeks. They need to be very muscular.
Like, look,
round.
like this is the butt. These are the cheeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, yeah.
I still figure it's worth noting because it is like the close above like partial nudity.
This is what our podcast is for.
Yeah.
Every instance of gargoyle nudity will be notarized.
Like I'm on the hunt.
Anyways, I'm gonna skip past the rest of the jet show because like nothing interesting
happened. We see a bunch of pretty flying scenes. That's it.
Like that was a good chunk of my runtime was just them flying around and nothing happening. So then we finally flip back to the castle and we see Demona like brush aside the tapestry.
Who is she?
She's.
So my first question here is, what was she up to all day? What do you think she was doing all day after the chaos
for
that
the
gods in the night?
perfect
As a human?
As a human, what was she up to all day?
I don't know.
I want to know!
What I love is the fact that Bronx clearly knew that she was in there, and like that's why he was clawing at the tapestry. But isn't Bronx still technically there?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
yes.
next episode will start with Bronx like attacking Demona.
Yes,
is that what happens?
Yes,
yeah,
that's how it starts. So like she's about. Well, we'll get to that. Let me just,
Okay.
Like that's how we're gonna get out of the cliffhanger that we're about to get
I just
to.
like how she goes by the curtain. She's like, "It was me the whole time."
Yeah, it was me.
Demona.
Demona, Yos.
Anyways, so she clearly snuck in as a human though, because there's no way she got like all the way up there and into the secret passage. Like,
why not?
Because she was already there.
The rest of them flew in the same night and were there, and then a bunch of stuff happened, and then they all flew out. So that seems like
But she was already there when Bronx was pawing at the curtain, when they arrived.
Yeah, so she flew to the castle and went through like one of her secret.
She maybe, but I think she snuck in as a human.
Okay. This is an argument that we don't
No,
need.
There's
it
like
doesn't
there's
matter
a secret
at all.
passageway in the castle, and she's like, "Oh, if only Xanatos knew this castle like I did." Even though Xanatos literally took the entire castle and fucking attached it to the top of a building.
Definitely knows
He definitely knows that there's shit there. He just doesn't give a shit.
Why do you think he hung a tapestry there?
Oh my god.
He probably but that just makes it seem like Xanatos when he saw Bronx pawing at it. He should have been like,
I am so
maybe
smart.
I should go and look.
So he thought what I thought he thought was that Bronx had noticed there was a passage there and he didn't want the gargoyles to know about it.
I can see that.
That's what I thought was running through his head.
Yeah. He likes to keep his secrets.
There's no point telling him about that. Anyways, okay, so there's secrets in this castle. Even you don't know. Okay. And then she's like, fortunately, he left his computer on. That'll make this easy.
Left his laptop open.
But first, I thought I'd rid myself of you long ago, human. Like, this is a very ADHD run-on sentence.
So, okay. First of all, long ago? You mean like a couple months ago when you thought you shot her with a poison dart? You were like, ta-ta?
Ciao.
Or whatever the fuck she said? Like, okay, but you're like 1,000,000 years old. Why does, that's a couple months ago. That's not long ago. You are projecting your long-term depression that you have been feeling your entire life onto this one policewoman because she is fucking your ex-boyfriend.
She has ADHD, and, things that happen.
Same,
She has no long-term memory anymore. She has depression. She barely remembers anything. This is what happens to people.
Anyways, but fortunately, that mistake is easily rectified. And she goes over, because she's still carrying her mace again.
Just to statue Elisa and Owen. But mostly to Elisa.
Raises the mace up to, try and smash her, and then the episode ends.
To be continued.
Oh, shit.
But yes, Bronx was left behind because he can't fly.
Poor Bronx.
So
he's always left behind.
We will see him next episode.
Yes, and where he will save Elisa. So don't worry, everyone. Elisa's not going to die. Bronx will save her. In one of the rare times he's allowed to do something on the show.
Yeah, he's allowed to be in the show when he becomes relevant to the plot again.
This was a good one.
This was a really good episode.
I love all of City of Stone. I really like this one. I don't know if there's anything else to really say. Yeah.
This was, so far, I mean, it's been a while since I saw the first 2 parts. Part 2 was very eventful, but I think this part was even more eventful, and not, like, it was more straightforward. Like, there wasn't the whole, like, Demona has her subplot that she's dealing with, and Macbeth also has his subplot. I mean, it was that,
They had, like, the
but
same subplot.
it was the same, like, thing. It was showing them finally, like, interlinking and making that connection that we always knew that they were going to have at some point. Mm-hmm. And I really like the storytelling. I think Macbeth and Demona, like all the characters in the show are well written, but they're, like, 2 of some of the best well-written characters in the show.
They're amazing.
So, yeah.
This for me was the first episode where when City of Stone started, I was more interested in, like, the present day scenes than in the past scenes. Because you remember how I reacted to that first episode. I was like, no, I don't want to do the past. I hate these people. I don't want to do this.
Page. Do you remember? I got so bored. I hyperfixated on fucking Brulog's dad.
But for this episode, this was the first time where the past was what gripped me.
Yeah.
And then when we went back to the present day, I was, like, disappointed. Because I was like, oh, I don't care about this. I want to hear more about Macbeth and Demona and, like, what they were doing.
The way this 4-parter, like, intersects to where you want to see more of what they were trying to, like, show you is interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying 5-parter. That was all.
Okay, but the other one isn't officially part of City of Stone.
Isn't there 5 parts to City of Stone?
There's 4 parts of City of Stone, but
really?
the episode directly afterwards also heavily features Demona and Macbeth.
Yeah.
So it feels like a 5th part.
It's like an epilogue, I guess.
Yes.
I didn't even register that because I was just looking at the episode list. And it says
I just thought there was 5.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one because that's where Elisa and Demona, like, sexily jello wrestle each other. So I can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, because I want to see that.
Speaking of City of Stone, though, I did have one piece of trivia that didn't fit into anywhere else.
Please.
Which is when I was reading Greg's episode synopsis, from, in case anyone hasn't heard of this, when at one point Greg, with his kids, rewatched the entire show, and he did it, and he live vlogged it. So that's something I always check out.
That's cool.
So during this one, he was like, yeah, I came up with the title City of Stone, and it's a really cool sounding title still, but it was not a good choice for this.
What?
Because, and here's his thoughts on it, when he originally started writing City of Stone, the present day was supposed to be the most important part, and the flashbacks were supposed to be just, like, little bits that filled in certain things in the present.
Not how it happened.
And then he's like, yeah, looking at the final product, like, the past scenes were so much more important, and the title has nothing to do with any of them.
I wonder what he would rename it now if given the opportunity.
What would you rename it now if given the opportunity?
2 Souls.
No.
I almost said 2 Hearts, but that's a sequel to The Last Unicorn, and that's already been taken.
Okay. I think City of Stone just works. I think it's a more gripping title than...
It's a very gripping title.
And not only that, but it's the event that segues us into this dive into the past and history. So even if it doesn't directly have anything to do with the past and history, you could make it like a metaphorical thing even. Like Demona's like entire fucking world is just, you know, like everything around her is just stone to her. Like she's just like, you know, she doesn't register it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, just something like that. I still think it's a good title. I don't think Greg should put himself out for that.
I think City of Stone sounds like very.
Yes.
It's very like it grabs your attention. I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to factor in like the hunters into it, maybe like hunter and prey. I don't know. But then we have like Hunter's Moon later on, so that's
yeah. No, this I've read Hunter and Prey stories.
Oh yeah.
Let me backtrack.
You've written Hunter and Prey stories.
I have. It's definitely up there, and I don't really. I mean, there's psychological, like, analytical stuff that you could watch this episode and just kind of register why certain characters are doing things, you know, because the whole hunter aspect and whatnot. But I don't think hunter and prey is what it's about.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't feel
I'm just
confident.
spitballing. This is what I do.
That's
I
true.
shoot a bunch of stuff out and then like I eliminate them. Like, no, this doesn't work. No.
And what I do is
This is how I write anything.
hyperfixate on the subject and overanalyze. But yeah, so how would we rate this episode out of 5 loincloths?
I'm not. You're both looking at me.
I'm thinking. I was actually staring at the unicorn tapestry.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry. Okay.
I was
fine. I'll give my rating first because I know what mine is.
Do you remember what I rated the other ones?
No.
I want to say you did 4.5-ish.
I want to say the first
Five
one was a
or
4.5, the second one was a 5, I think.
Yeah.
I would go either 4.5 or a 5.
I would go
really
straight
like
5.
this
I'm going to go 4.5 solely because there's not much hot stuff in this one.
There's like zero hot stuff in this
Yeah.
one.
Macbeth's
sadly.
legs can
Macbeth
do
has
it for
legs.
me.
Yeah, I mean, we were gonna have to discuss like who's the gayest character here.
I don't know, Macbeth for
Maybe?
wanting to fuck his
Macbeth
cousin.
and Duncan, but it's like purely in our
Yeah.
imagination.
Just because, like, it was funny.
Yeah, and then
like, okay, but like finally we get a hetero romance that like I really fucking like.
Yeah.
Like we had
Well,
Fox
we
and
had-
Thanatos who I also like. But now
Well,
we have
Goliath and
Macbeth
Elisa
Demona.
were also good.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You literally said that you've gone on record saying that they are
Like,
your favorite.
there
and
are-
you did earlier also go on record saying Demona and Macbeth were your favorite straight couple. So one of them is.
Okay, it's definitely Demona and Macbeth. It's not Elisa and Goliath.
Okay.
But like this show does have multiple. Like you know, it's a sign of good writing when a show has multiple straight couples that I can stand.
Yeah.
Much less like really enjoy like I do on this show.
It's because everyone in the show, I think, is just kind of like fluid in a way, and it's just like these characters just happen to like each other, and they just happen to be the gender that they are.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
it has
with-
nothing to do with it.
With these couples that I've mentioned, like one half of them is still like a monstrous creature. So there's still like a queer
Yeah.
energy to it, even if they're like a normal hetero pairing. Not that there's anything normal about these people, other than that their genders
I
are
mean, there's
opposite sex.
neither Fox nor Xanatos are monstrous.
But their minds are monstrous.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
queer feeling though. Like
Well, 'cause-
everything that we hear
they're
about the
both very
relationship.
bisexual.
Well, because
so
they're
that
both
helps
queer.
too. Yes, they
Yeah.
actually are both queer
So
themselves.
that's why we like them, because they're just disaster bisexuals who just happen to be like fucking like everything in their path together.
Okay, and then the next one would be technically be sexiest moment, which
Macbeth's like king scene where he's like got his like loincloth legs.
I mean, I honestly don't know anything better.
So I'm going to give for sexiest moment a moment that wasn't actually in the show, so to speak, but Sid's edit
I knew
of
it.
Macbeth slapping Duncan on the ass. I really
It's
enjoyed,
funny.
That was
and
good.
it
Yeah.
is very hot.
No, like I
So-
saw that scene, and then the idea just like, no, this is what happened. I have to like express it.
So even if it's not in the show, it's in our version of the show. It's in my personal headcanon now. So
Did you have any?
No, I had nothing. That's why I announced it, so I would at least be able to say something.
Let's all give a big round of applause to Macbeth's legs.
who was the gayest
Not actually
character? Did we
clapping.
already
We
do
did that. We did that.
Did we answer?
It was like,
No, you immediately went on about straight chips.
Yeah, so okay, so we have to go back and actually answer.
wait, okay, so sexiest
Well-
moment was Macbeth's legs, or
Yes.
Macbeth's ass. No, Macbeth slapping Duncan on the
You know,
ass.
yes,
in my edit,
all of
and
those.
then like the gayest character.
Is it Duncan?
I guess it's Duncan or Macbeth.
Owen
Could
was
be-
pretty sassy.
Could be
He is
Owen.
pretty sassy, but that's about all that we really have. Lexington doesn't even have any lines.
No.
None of the other
Sad.
gargoyles have lines except for
No.
Brooklyn and
Yeah.
Goliath.
Yeah, and they have like 2 lines, so like, what are
Yeah.
they gonna do?
This episode wasn't about them.
It's
for
not
once.
even Xanatos like barely even hit on Goliath.
Yeah.
Too, which I was surprised.
Yeah, no, he's
by.
always. Why does Goliath like radiate sexual energy everywhere? I mean, that's a stupid question. Because he's hot.
Like
and he's
even
really
just like
hot.
putting on like the harness, like he did it like so like grumpily and like I don't want to be wearing this, but like it was like oddly hot anyway.
My question was why everyone in the show is attracted to him, and you immediately started talking about the harness some more.
Because that was the hot
You
part
really
of him.
like that
I
harness.
liked how he looked in the
I
harness.
didn't even register it that much when I saw it.
Like I even made a note of it in our group chat. I was like,
Yes,
"Look at
I
the
remember that.
harness, everyone."
And then I
like
remember-
no
see,
one responded.
No, he responded. He sent the picture of the baby carrier thing.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right.
that's when I looked at it and I saw both of those and I'm like, I can't respond to this. Because you sent that picture and I'm like, I can't respond to that. That's why I never responded
Wait, I was going somewhere with that. I don't even remember.
I
right.
do.
Okay, Xanatos. Okay, I feel like it is Xanatos' dream just like dress Goliath up, and like he finally got to do that. But like he should have had like some sort of smarmy comment about that. That's all, and I'm sad that he didn't.
You would
Like they had time. Just cut down that stupid flying scene a little and you had time for a little more dialogue in there.
What would he say? He'd be like, "I've always wanted to play dress up with you, Goliath." Something like that.
You would roleplay really well as Xanatos in a Goliath X Xanatos RP.
I might.
I'm throwing ideas out there for both you guys,
Okay,
by the way.
I
Like,
could roleplay Goliath very well too, because Inaraj basically acts just like Goliath does all the time.
Well, yeah, but
So,
like
I could do.
I don't know. I don't know because
side.
you're just like thinking of all these ideas Xanatos would come up with. Like, you're like, yeah, he would be smarmy. He would try to find ways to get like to flirt with Goliath at any given second.
Like when I roleplay as Inaraj, which like isn't even that often these days, but like a lot of the time, like what I do as Eno is like he acts like that manly bratty sort of way. So like I'll give my partner like ideas like through dialogue or something. Like if I were being Goliath, I would like in the RP I'd be like, oh, he hates the idea that Xanatos is dressing him, but he feels he must do it. So then my RP partner would then pick up on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like in a way I dom myself when I roleplay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use the
Like any good brat will.
Sometimes I use the AI generator, and I just kind of like.
They should make like a Goliath AI generator. They probably already have.
They
I don't know if I like AI generators.
No, I mean like.
It makes me feel like I'll be out of a job soon.
Oh,
Every time I talk to one, I'm like, oh, I'm
You're
going to have
not
to worry
gonna
about
be
being
out-
replaced anytime in the
No
next
one.
few decades.
There's no one
They're
that's
so
gonna.
bad.
Okay, let
It'll
me
be
take
like
that back.
in
I
Star
was
Trek,
just talking
TNG.
about one-off roleplay. I'm not talking about actual like written stories. But
Oh, okay. You don't need to feel bad about doing AI roleplay stuff. I'm
okay.
sorry.
No,
It's
I
fine.
mean,
Be happy.
I just saw Spiffy was doing it, and I threw that out there. I don't actually. I mean, like I tried it, and I was like, whatever.
I tried it once and it went weird.
I tried one once and it actually went really, really well. So you guys just have to try the same one I did, I guess.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna have to hit me up with that later.
I forget where it was.
I don't.
So, I'm looking at our mail.
Okay, we have at least 2 emails, but
Well,
they're from
before
like way
that-
in the past.
So
Before that, I have another thing to read that's not an email.
Okay. Who is it?
This is from Crossover Lion.
Oh,
on
from our
Discord.
Discord. Okay.
Because
I saw
I
this
wanted to
too.
do this one because I'm like, if I don't say it, there's a decent chance we'll forget to look at the Discord thing because this is brand new. So we just added a mail chat channel for people on our Discord, which there's always an invite available if you want to join.
Mm-hmm.
To leave mail directly there if they don't want to email us or tag on Twitter or whatever. So Crossover Lion asked us a very simple question. In your mind, is Lexington a top, a bottom, or a switch?
So I have a long, complicated answer for
Of course.
this.
So do you want to start with a less long, complicated answer?
he's a top.
Okay,
That's it.
so that is the short version of my answer. So
See-
TLDR, he's a top.
Small top, big bottom. Lexington can get it.
Okay.
honestly.
See, here's my thought. I thought
Uh-huh.
he's usually a top, but I would classify him as a switch because even though he leans top, he's not always top.
Well, yeah.
So that's the slightly longer, but still my answer. So, like, yeah, I think everyone has top and bottom tendency. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
anyone is pure either or.
yeah.
So we have seen Lex has had like bottom moments. Like usually when he's like pressed to the ground like physically by a larger man, like he will suddenly start acting like, oh, stop. And like I'm just like I can't help but read that sexually like every time it happens. There was that time in like the Awakening 5-parter, and then when Wolf like hugged him, that was also like Lexington had like
and
one of his many sexual awakenings.
And when they had their little rematch, and Lexington was just like one-upping Wolf, and he was like baiting him, and Wolf was like falling on the floor, and Lexington was laughing over him.
And Lexington was like really like into it.
That was the top Lexington.
So like
coming out.
like I feel like Lexington is like he mostly prefers to top, but he especially likes to top like bigger guys. He's like really into that aspect of it.
Which luckily, like, every guy's
But
bigger than
most
him.
guys in his life are bigger than he is, so that works out for his libido, definitely.
It also works out because he's at the right angle to like look at the whenever he talks to Goliath, like. So isn't Lexington's clone canonically attracted to Goliath's clone, like Thalog?
I don't know.
I heard in the Discord there was some chatter about that being a canonical thing.
Okay,
Is
well,
Brentwood really? Is that a thing?
In the comic, when Thalog he goes to all the clones and is like he tries to recruit them. Lexington's clone is the only one who takes them up on the offer, and the rest stay in the labyrinth. So I don't. I've never read a sexual thing to that, but it
could be.
Why not? Yeah, Lexington's clone has a big crush. He wants to fucking dom the hell out of Thalog one day, and he'll do it.
Why not?
I could see that.
So, I feel like there's definitely some, imagine just being like a young gay man like Lexington, smaller than most, but still attracted to masculinity, drawn towards it. Yeah. And you have Goliath, who's supposed to be this pinnacle of intellectual and sensitive masculinity that is also your role model for coming up into the world. It's like symbolically, it is like father and son, but like, how Gargoyles clan do it, like they don't put titles on it.
He's like a mentor figure.
So, I feel like,
figure. Yeah.
I feel, that being said, I feel like Lexington has probably had, probably feelings towards Goliath.
He's definitely jerked off thinking about Goliath.
Like, come on.
It's Goliath.
like he gets tired of the trio, and Goliath is supposed to be this role model. I mean, I'm sure he was attracted to the pack for a while, just as a group, but then I guess his focus kind of hindered from there.
No, I agree that he definitely probably has some feelings towards Goliath, even if he will never act on them. He at least is aware that Goliath is very attractive. How could you not be aware of that?
Lexington is so brave for just living next to that man for so long, and also just keeping it chill.
Yep. Thank you, Crossover Line. I liked this question a lot because I like talking about Lexington's sexuality.
Yeah, it's very fun for us.
I will say, okay, I think with Stagheart, I actually do see Lex as more of a switch, because I see that relationship as more more, I guess, tender, and
it's supposed
they have
to be
an emotional connection.
I think with Stagheart and Lexington, it's supposed to be this is supposed to be a healthy relationship.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It's not like Lexington's it's not more just his kink of wanting to die.
I feel like between those two, there would be probably just complete physical openness to whatever.
Yeah,
position
I feel like they both try to satisfy each other for whatever the other wanted in the bedroom,
there's a lot of switch ups, whatever they feel is natural. That was, I think that's it for that question though, because I think we talked about that for a good 10 minutes. I do have bookmarked all the emails we got for this particular episode. Great. So they're starred in our Loincloth Hour email, awesome. Because I knew that. We have 3.
Whoa.
One of which is kind of a gag email.
Gargoyles get gagged? That's hot.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, so the first email is from RT Zach. Hey, Loincloth. Oh, he sent this in September.
Yeah, this was very long time ago.
It's a very long time ago.
I know that he remembers sending it, because I think he told us so in the Discord.
Yeah. So he says, hey, Loincloth lads, do you think Elisa puts off sex until right before dawn so Goliath will turn to stone while he's inside her? These are the questions that keep me awake at night. Thank you, RT.
Okay, but she wants to do that. She can just get, like... She can buy a sex toy.
But it's not Goliath.
She can get it modeled after it. Okay, you know that Xanatos has the...
Yeah, Bad Dragon,
the
Goliath dick,
specifications of Goliath. She could go to him and be like, look, Xanatos, if you don't want me to arrest you, you'll give me the specs on Goliath's dick, and you'll make me one. And then you'll make a robot that'll shoot it into my vagina, just like you have one that shoots it into your butthole. And Xanatos will be like, I see you're well-informed, detective. Very well. I'll forward that to you immediately. And then they'll bond over both enjoying Goliath's dick so much.
I hope that gave an answer to your question, Artizette. As for myself, honestly, my advice is, if you and your partner have a, consensual thing where when they're, like, asleep or turned to stone, that there is still, like, definite arousal, and they have given you utmost permission to do whatever when they are in this state of stoneness or asleepness, then, by all means, good for them.
Yes.
Like, I think that's very beautiful.
Informed consent.
Yes.
It's called.
Yes.
I don't know if Elisa and Goliath have even had sex yet, by the point we are now in the newest comic.
Oh, they haven't, but there's, like, a lot of horny tension.
Like, they've been going out, but then they broke up, and they got back together again. I don't know if they've had sex.
Oh, you mean in the comic?
In the comic.
The Marvel comic?
No, not the Marvel comic. The one that you haven't read yet.
Oh, you mean the new one that came
out?
Like,
I know they haven't in the show, because they just got together at, like, the very end of the show. And then in the comic, they're dating for, like, during it. When they're not breaking up and getting back together because of drama.
Yeah, no, they've definitely had sex. Next question.
I hope so.
Oh, did you have anything you wanted to add, Hiron?
No, I think I'm...
Next question. This is from Remy. Okay, so this is actually an email we did read, I think, in the last episode, because he combined City of Stones parts 2 and 3. So, I don't know if we want to read it, but it has been a minute, so... What do you guys think?
Did we even read the part 3 part of the email?
I feel like we saved it till this...
Yeah, we did save it. We did save it. Okay. So he sent this in October, so in the time he's writing it, he's talking about, like, October. Okay. Hi there, Loincloth Hour crew. Boy, a lot has happened lately. From having to go through a hurricane and the aftermath to family and friends in Florida going through one too. Which I also experienced, being from Florida and everything. Yeah. I went back to my hometown during the holidays, and the devastation is, like, horrible. Like, people died, and it was not fun. But, that is a thing that happened and that we went through during the fall. He continues, I also got a new job, which is kicking my ass. Things have gotten busy lately. Left me with little to no time to check Gargoyles and your podcast, but it's high time I do just that, which means that, this'll be long. Your episodes regarding City of Stone have been pretty darn chaotic, and I've loved it. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and the whole bit of Demona doing it with Brooklyn's brother, and the significance of it in the present time with Brooklyn himself, that absolutely sent me. I was screaming into my pillow, of course. And let's not even go into the iconic scene of Demona going batshit crazy on the humans frozen in stone, or the supposed animation era of her blowing Brendan and Margot to smithereens.
So good.
Going for extra bits of info, I remember you guys talking about Angela and Gabriel being siblings, like both of them being parented by Goliath and Demona, but this is inaccurate. Female gargoyles can lay up to 3 eggs in their life, though Demona may be the exception for obvious reasons, while female gargoyle beasts can lay up to 4 eggs, and their heat cycle and stuff is extremely time specific, which I may go into another time, meaning during the start of Avalon Arc, of course. Okay, so I don't care about gargoyle beasts and their egg-laying methods. Like, the doggies, like, whatever.
So, okay, about Gabriel's parentage, I actually think that he is right, and that Gabriel's father might actually be Coldstone and not Goliath. I think I actually read that.
He does kind of look more like Coldstone.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's correct.
So yeah, I always thought he was Goliath's son, but now that I'm thinking about it, I've probably just been wrong for years and years and years.
Okay, so what he continues, twins are extremely rare. Anyway, Gabriel's actual parents are Othello / Coldstone and Desdemona. The other bit of info is Gilcum Gaines' age. Dude is 3 years older than Bode, Gruach's father.
What?
Apparently.
He doesn't look older than... Oh, that's crazy.
Well, he's more fit, and Gruach's father, let's be honest, he's got that dad bod going on.
Yeah, but it works for him.
Yeah, I know, but
He hasn't done any complaints.
Gilcum Gaines an old dude, but I mean, like, you know, he's let like hate and sociopathy fuel him his entire life.
Who do you think would top who in that situation? Let's do a crack pairing.
I could imagine like Gruach's father, who I forget his name already. Bodhi. Sitting on Gilcum Gaine.
Okay, I hate that I thought of the same thing, but you said it. I hate that our minds are in sync like this.
Listen. I mean, we run a show together. That's just how it is. Okay, so Macbeth and Gruach were born in the same year. Okay. And Gilcum Gaine was 23 at the time.
Jeez.
Macbeth and Gruach are 15 when Gilcum Gaine kills Macbeth's father, making Gilcum Gaine 38 at the time, and he's 50 when he marries Gruach, who was 27 at the time. Damn, okay.
So are these like the historical ages? 'Cause they might have adjusted that for the show, maybe. Because I just didn't get that same impression.
Are you ready for this next piece of information? No.
Yes, I am.
I don't have an answer for your question.
Okay.
Like, I can't answer that. But Gilcum Gaine's voice actor also voices Dingo.
What?
Yeah,
Wow, he
apparently.
doesn't even sound Australian as Gilcum Gaine.
I guess not. But that gives you a valid reason to want to fuck Gilcum Gaine.
I don't want to fuck Gilcum Gaine.
I thought you did. No, you want
if
Duncan. You want Duncan is what you want.
Okay, well, yeah, it's like adult King Duncan, because he's got it going on.
Okay. So, he continues, always fun to hear an actor voicing more than one character. But enough about all that came before, as we now move on to the third part. I guess I'll start with the iffy bits for me. First, was nobody believing that woman about people turning into stone? I get that, but like, this is New York in the 90s.
Yeah, wouldn't there be cameras?
There should be security cameras in stores.
Okay,
banks,
Remy and I are
museums,
also very in sync, apparently.
other buildings, like, and all over the city, recordings of people coming to stone, and yet that never gets brought up. Seriously, that's a huge plot hole in my opinion. Then there's the animation errors on which gargoyles of Demona's clan and got smashed and which survived. Plus, also Demona at the end, saying there were secrets about the castle that even Xanatos didn't know about. But the guy had taken the castle apart brick by brick and put it back together on top of a skyscraper. So how the hell would he not know any of these secret passages? It doesn't make any sense. Also peculiar that we don't see Fox again.
Yeah, where is she?
She woke up.
He left her in the helicopter.
She's fine. So, I like how everything Remy just talked about, we already talked about.
Okay, that's one of my favorite things about Remy's emails.
Yeah.
It's like he reassures us that we're not crazy. Because he notices the same stuff and talks about it in his email.
Okay. Thankfully, the episode was still solid in terms of the storytelling and characterization. And despite the flashbacks, it moved at a good pace. The standout moment for me, though, was absolutely Duncan's death via burning from the inside out, even having his eyes blown out. People often think of Demona killing civilians turned to stone when this four-parter is spoken about, but I find myself also remembering Duncan's death, because damn, it was extremely memorable. As a kid watching it for the first time, I thought it had to be one of the coolest, most badass things I have seen in any kind of animation work, and it holds up to this day. I can't believe that kind of hardcore death got past the censors. Mm-hmm. Anyways, this email's gotten pretty long even for me, so I'll go into one final thing that stood out for me, and that was the short bits we saw here of Brooklyn's older brother. The way his tongue was sticking out when he awoke, and even when he got attacked by that guy, that made it clear to me this gargoyle is all about oral. He loves sucking dick and slurping ass. which leads me to now what I firmly believe would be his kink if he had survived to live in Manhattan with the others. Glory holes.
Oh.
Couple nights a week, he'd sneak into some certain stall where...
Central Park
in a certain bathroom at a certain location where some men knew that if you went in there, you would receive the best oral sex of your life. You know that beak of his could make for a mind-blowing blowjob. So damn good that nobody would question the fact that it's a damn beak sucking them off. And whoever spread his ass cheeks, pressed up against the stall wall, and showed their butthole on the glory hole opening would get a rim job that would make their eyes roll back. They'd probably even lose consciousness for a moment. It's that damn good. So yeah, sucking anonymous human dicks and ass, that's what I picture for Brooklyn's Brothers kink. Now I can't get it out of my mind. And having left you with that titillating mental image, I'll buzz off for now. Looking forward to the City of Stone finale. Keep up your good work, guys, and take care.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
What a beautiful,
wonderful email.
Like, that's so touching.
Okay, so when you were going over that sexual fantasy at the end, my first thoughts was Wolf and Dingo visiting the glory hole every fucking night. Because they're my go-to.
I'm telling you, Wolf, you stick your bum cheeks in there, you're
yeah,
gonna get
Dingo
the rimming of
would
a
definitely
lifetime.
have gotten the rim job. Yeah, he would definitely
And
go
Wolf's
for that.
just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then it's, the rest, I just gotta write this out. This will be some interesting fan fiction. So yes, thank you, Remy, for that very heartfelt email. Yeah.
One other thing, when Remy says that Duncan's death is super memorable to him, I just think that's very funny because all of us in our group chat, when we were first going over the episode, none of us, at least me and Hiron, did not remember that Duncan even died, much less the insane way that it happened.
I did remember he died. I just thought he fell off a cliff again.
Yeah, we only remember the cliff part. We did not remember at all, the fucking fire and, the eyes and everything.
I didn't remember
really
it
funny.
either, but I was on the same page as Remy. I thought it was really cool that they got that past the censors. Good for them. Props to them for, showing an Indiana Jones death.
Yeah.
We've come full circle since the archaeology episode. And then we have one last email. Artizek.
Artizek again.
Would you like to read this for us?
I'll read it. Beans. Do you think if there were cat gargoyles that they would have beans?
Thank you for listening to the show, everybody.
Baggy has beans.
Thank you for listening to the show, everybody. We are signing off now. I'm not letting this go any further.
Wait, okay,
we've been recording over 2 hours.
Does Fang have beans? And Claw? Do they have
Yes.
beans?
Good night, everybody.
Okay, we should say who we are.
We're Sid,
I'm
Haran,
Spankacorn.
and
follow
he-
me on Twitter at Spankacorn.
Pangolin_Uran on Twitter and AO3 and 13333 on FA.
Join our Discord group.
I'm Sid Scripps. This is Sid signing off for the night. Good night.